right? Last time we did, we left off at the CET structures. Any questions or any challenges about CET? Anything you want to ask about CET first? And oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you update about the whole CMT thing as well. By now, all of you guys should have at least Trade Nation or CMT, right? Not CMT, CMC, right? You guys should have at least Trade Nation or CMC, correct? By now, this person is weird. Okay, never mind. The person not time really. The person is contacting me. They can't find the link, and I'm like, oh. Right, so yes, okay, so for CMC side, what happened was that due to the regulation, I explain the regulation first, that Singapore, because they done too much businesses with Malaysia and Indonesia, what happened is that Indonesia and Malaysia is trying to cram down as many crypto and forex trader as possible. So there was an MAS agreement that all MAS approved licensee brokerage, right, cannot embark any Malaysians or Indonesians. So I wasn't aware of this as well, nor was it briefed to me when I was with CMC at that point, until recently. You can open an account if you reside in Singapore or you're working here, or you prove that you have some form of connection here. That's one of the ways. For Malaysian, if you are AI, accredited investor in Malaysia, you can actually write in to get approved to open up with MES. This is a regulation issue, right? Because there's too much politics in the regulation scene. So to counter this issue at the CMC side, what happens is that they are opening Bermuda's account. At the moment, they are pending licensing from there. That's number one. Number two is that, right, Trade Nation actually saw this problem coming, and that's why we have a Bahamas license. So they knew that this problem was coming, and CMC had to maintain a certain pride at one point. They're explaining why they don't do it third party or the kind of regulation. So there is a few ways around this legally, a few ways. The first of all is what we call a proxy setup. Proxy setup means that we use an account in Singapore, whether show another company account, to set up your accounts, your CMC accounts through a proxy that is regulated, that will be used to open up to a CMC. So that's one of the ways which we're discussing in a moment. The second way to do this is to use an offshore proxy. The BVI company I have can be used for that as well as one form of offshore proxying. So that's another way to get around the regulators. The third one is that they'll use the Bermuda's methods. So that is the way to get around the regulations, so that they can onboard the thing. Basically, in short, MA is being an idiot, right? And this is the more of the government politics issue between nations. So I'm just explaining to you the problem now. So if you can't get a CMC, don't worry. Trade Nation is completely free and completely it's easy to use access, and we don't see any problems with the fund management or handling of funds so far. You might face a bit of problem for a Malaysian side that is reported at a bank side, but that's usually a bank. There's one guy called Brendan in the group, in the B3 group. He's very good at solving this issue. So he's a guy they can speak to if you need to settle or any funding issues. If not, he just talk straight away. All right. So I just want to settle the case of what's happening in CMC right now, because I'm still quite new at CMC. So there's a lot of regulations with MES stuff that is still not fully covered, and the regulators are just how should I say? They will not tell you until you make something wrong. That's what happens. No. Okay. So if you're talking about algo, right, it'll be restricted, but what we can do is called API lock-in, because it's MT4. So the MT4 thing, right? If you only see traders, fine. But what's the legal recourse when you see traders compared to, let's say, CMC? What's the legal recourse? There's a lot of FP markets. They're also doing this, right? So the question is, what's your legal recourse? So you got to think beyond just the part about whether can use this and that, right? Or whether it's a Joe block or whether it's a brokerage block. So there are ways we can arrange a way for the stuff to go through it. You can do API control over. But this stuff I'm not as familiar.
the developers will tell me what to do. Yeah, I'll tell you guys. So I'll just let you know that these are some stuff that we are in discussion. And so far, nothing's been approved yet. Nothing has been cleared completely. Right. So I just want to let you know that this is what we're doing. The CEOs on the case right now. So the problem is that CEOs at the moment in Canada. So there's a lot of delay there's a lot of delay in the talking. So there'll be the next major progress will be next week. There'll be next week Thursday's evening, but I'll get the full answer next week Friday. Then I can tell you guys what's the next progress stage if you are keen on that stuff. All right, so just want to let you know that what's happening on the ground on that point of view as well. All right, so that's something that I'm looking at the moment, apart from all this stuff and apart from the funds. And of course, I probably have to go to Hong Kong. If you guys want to meet me in Hong Kong, I'm not sure if any of you are in Hong Kong, but there's a high possibility that I'll be in Hong Kong around the 13th to the 16th this month, or 20th onwards for about 4 days, 3-4 days. So if you want to meet me in Hong Kong, you're more than welcome to meet me in Hong Kong. That's the appropriate reach time there. All right. So that's my current plan right now. Okay, let's start the discuss. So, question on CET. Okay, that's a good question, Sean. Okay, the problem is that if you want to identify what a possible change of trend is, there is one way. That is called time factoring cycles. So what I mean by time factoring cycle is that, right? I'll show the basics, right? When we talk about correlation, this is time trading basics, right? I think I showed before. There are in the Fibonacci sequencing, which I'll cover either tomorrow or next week, tomorrow, Sunday or next week, is that we want to look for highs and lows. So before we go into highs and lows, right, we did something called the structure support resistance, right? Remember what we covered yesterday? We said that right. I mean last week, that there are highs and lows, right? That anything you want to do, you can look left, right? You can look left, right? Anything you do, just look left, right, to get a rough idea, right? Look left, right. Our term is called look left. So apart from the looking left, right, there's this other thing that you need to understand about the markets. This theory called hands and legs. I repeat, there is something that you need to understand. It's called hands and legs of the markets. Hands and legs. So hands, right? Legs, right? What does it mean? Very simple. You see all these little dimension plotting lines here, hands. These are what we call hand area. The legs are the points here. We call it market legs, right? But the market is not perfect. Sometimes you have a dual leg like this. This is to confuse or to shift the structure a bit. Sometimes the big boys can do this. It's intentionally done. Is to confuse the time traders. Because when we have a time sequence, right, because of the up cycle, we tend to get either A or B. And here's the truth. Both are correct. But both can be also a bit wrong. Sometimes the market will say, okay, this day is a cycle here, but the big boys can disrupt the cycle a little bit and cause a double dip like this. Can you see this point here? Is it clear? I'll zoom in for you. Can you see that both is a double dip? But how do we know that it's a possible reversal? Closing prices. Can you see that? The closing price? They double dip it, but then they both close above. So if you're looking at S&P right now, it's bearish, right? Our BMM, if the cut is to be above this line, right? But the S&P is already showing a bit of weakness already. Why? Because last week I mentioned that this was supposed to be the day to issue, right? I delayed by 1 day because I sense a doji. If we look back at the delay, if you remember, I said it's actually on the Tuesday, but I said look at Wednesday, right? It's actually 300 points already. FYI. So at this stage now, I'm not sure. Because if you use the Gann fan that I taught you guys last week, remember Gann fan here? What are we doing? I'm using 2 hands as a gauge. Can you see the 2 hands here? And when I plot the Gann fan here, like this, right? What do you see? Just can set a bit like this, right? Okay. How come I got the thing right earlier? Which hands I use? Oh, I use this. Yep, there was this, right? Yep, baby, I was using this one. Where's the I posted on the public channel. It's public channel cycle. No, I use the top one. This chart's a bit different. Yeah, I use this one, right? So when I plotted it quickly, when I was doing quick calculations, right? The GAN fan actually showed a rejection here. I don't know why earlier it showed touches here, right? But there's a rejection point here. So we know that this area here is governing a cycle. And this is where the big guns are actually shorting at the moment. So if you look at the hourly indicator, let's go to hourly now. Right? Let's go hourly. Can you see that the L goes? Because of the GAN fan cycle, the algos are pumping down here. You see the algos pump here? Right now it's being challenged again, right? But it's not officially switched over yet. So if the stop loss of the hit and you guys enter around here, it's fine. This is a small loss, right? Let's say the loss will be here, this area here, correct? So then again, I will need to teach you something called apology trade if you haven't learned from me yet. This could be your loss area of apology from the BMM, but the BMM did not fail because the minimum cycle from the day after already did 180 points, which is above 130 points. So there's something you need to take note there that I already mentioned. BMM2 was done. The minimum cycle has done. So usually people aim for BMM4. 2 or 4, how you want to re-enter, exit, hit 2, no stop loss entry, it's all up to your trading style. So right now we are watching here. And if you ask me, do I know the answers? To tell you the truth, I don't. I only know that the original BMM was supposed to be Tuesday. I opt by 1 day, right? I opt it by 1 day. So this was BMM bar, correct? Then there was a flush. There was a flush, right? And hit the target 2. And I was like, okay, I mean, technically my job is done. Then there was a dimension cycle here, right? So you can see that this is like a CT, right? And why I said watch out for it, because this is also a potential C. And this is a potential E, right? What I'm hoping for is what you call a flip around here, opening, collapse. That's what I hope for. What I'm hoping for right now. Flip and collapse. But if you check to US 30, there's a high probability that it's going to flip that way because of the current strength at the moment from UK session. So if this happens and you happen to short here, right? If you happen to short this area here, then apology trades will kick in to go on long. That is something you can consider. Any questions on this so far? So your little GAN fan there, the one I showed you earlier in the public channel, right? If you don't know how you did it, I just explained to you already. That all I did was to zoom out. I think it was a scaling issue, minor scale issue also, right? All I did was zoom out, took these 2 points here, plot it here. I got a rejection here. I don't know why it moves a little bit sometimes. I don't know how I got I don't even know how I got the thing just now. I just happened to plot it here. I just used 2 hands. So we only look at the hands, right? That's how I plot it. So these are hands that we need to look at. Then the legs point, this is obviously a C and E phase, right? You can see this is a C. E is happening right now. Looks like E. This is a potential E. The closing price was above, so it shows weakness. BMM2 done, so it could be a reversal. It could be. Technically, it also can be a BMM4 because if you use this line here, we have a BMM4 done already on the original BMM day, which I mentioned. If you go back to day 2, I mentioned about it. That there was a BMM2 day 4, right? But I delayed by 1 day. So that's how we actually check the cycles or check whether it's a potential reversal or not. But for this current pump there, well, it could be a full reversal. Once a reversal come in, right? If it goes to apology, this will be apology bar around here. It's usually here to here, S&P 500. You can use this bar here as apology, and we could see a potential reversal up here. This is 556, right? We could see a 556 here. Then it could become what we call a Death Valley setup again. So it can happen. I'm waiting for a confirmation. All right. So as back to your question again of what to find about the cycles change, very simple. Your Fibonacci sequence, which I'll cover later, I'll just do a quick one, is that the rules is always like high to low, low to high. The rules is always high to low, low to high, right? Let's say here to here, it could be a sequence, right? If this is a sequence itself, then there are 4 points in the pillar, in a square. What are the 4 points? You can take here, 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 or here. And it crosses. You see that? Which means that you can take a high to high, low to low, low to low, high to high. High to low, low to high. So we look for these hands. So if it goes up, the apology will kick in, right? Apology will kick in. Let's say we take the BMM bar sequence here. Then my calculation or my style will be a distance multiplication of x1. Apology kick in. This will be the up. Then this will form into a, then this might form into a, what we call a Death Valley pattern again. Very annoying. Double test, then fly. Well, could that be a whipsaw? Small chance. Why? What do you think is a small chance whipsaw? Can you see this thing here is 1, this is 2. Remember the legs, right? Legs and hands, right? Another trick about hands and legs is that, right? They form the law of 3. 1, 2. So something that you need to understand also that so far for this drop, has not hit law of 3 yet. So that's another consideration factor. Only 2 legs has formed. It may not reverse. That's why I say watch the area, plan the trades. And that's the reason why I chose this as a stop loss area. Understand? But you're talking about structural CET. The stop loss is supposed to be here at the C high. This is supposed to be the stop loss. But this is not non-BMM really. And the risk is bigger. This is the actual C stop loss. It's over here. But most of us get confirmation here. So I think it's silly for us to hold all the way here, enter here, hold all the way here. But the question is, what's the plan? If you're looking from a big picture point of view, and you are very bearish, you're looking at a very long-term drop, right, to the bottom leg here, this area here, then yes, this cycle, if you use appropriate stop loss, is actually a longer short period. You could. That's another way to justify it. Does this make sense? So all I know is that this is a T, this is a potential C, and a potential E has formed. The E to reversal, minimum BMM2. That's why BMM2 is formed. That's why it did hit the BMM2 on a minimum. Because to know where the BMM2 is, right, all I need to do is to study the cycle long enough to understand that there's a minimum phase, let's say here, of the low to drop. So one of the consideration of BMM2s is that when we designed BMM2 was that we considered what causes a trap and what's the minimum. We found the answers to be 30 pips confirmation, trigger, 90 pips as target to get a trap like this. That's unusual. And we see this pattern repeating over and over again. This pattern does get affected by inflation as well. So in other words, right, BMM2 might move up eventually to, instead of 90 pips, 100 pips, 110 pips. It might, because of inflation factors. That's why some of the older methods die off. Does it make sense? You guys are like quite quiet, so I'm a bit. I have not taught apology trade in this batch yet. I will explain apology trade shortly later. I hope I can teach it by today, because I need to teach you RR. I need to teach you risk management, R ratio, money management first, because I teach you apology. This is actually supposed to be next. Sunday material. Supposed to be for Sunday's material. That's the sequence. All right. Now look, now it's starting to check already. Yeah, I've not done the BMM yet, so that'll be later. But because you guys asked me straight the point of the CT, right? I'm telling you the answers now. Is that there are 4 corners of the square. You can use high, high, low, high, high, low, low, high. Right? So let's say your 4 corners. And then if you want to find a potential reversal CT, all you need to do is to take a cycle. Let's say here. Multiply it. Yeah. The more advanced one is the GAN box. This one. The more advanced ones you'll teach the dimension training batch. This one. That's the more advanced one. And it's a lot more indicators on it. Right? So let's say if I clone cycle here, you can see that on this day, there's a green bar was a cycle Fibo, right? And it happened to be a cycle Fibo bottom. You can see that if you add 618 plus 382, what do you get? 618 here plus 382, what do you get? What do you get? This answer 0.618, 382 over this line here. What do you get? What do you get here? You can see if I move this box away, right? What do you get? You get a Balanced equation, right? So when you talk about Balanced equation line, right? I know that there's a potential cycle shift here on the day because of the Fibonacci and the sequence, the range sequence is between this range. There's actually a calculation formula at the background. And when this thing touches here again on the Fibonacci retracement method, there's a buyback strength here, right? At this point here. So could this be a reversal point? I don't know. But it's hitting us cycle sequence on a 0.75. You see that? This day, today, is on this marker. But the BMM is done. So I don't care. Any questions? So anyway, you don't have to know how to do it, but this is just one of the more advanced way. And it can lead to what we call cycle calculations, which is this one. Here to here. Right? Here to here. Then you test a cycle. You see that when I did the cycle calculations, this reversal point, no accident. Right? Reversal here, no accident. Pump, no accident. Interesting? You can see that the dates where the line lengths, are these accidental? Not accidental at all. So this is how we get a gauge sequence. If you're talking about CT change trend, this is one of them, the more advanced technique. Interesting? Let's see the pump here, CT pump cycle change. So this is one way to determine CT cycle change, one of the very advanced way. How do I know the CT is about to change phase? Cycle management. Here, cycle management. This is a E to T, right? You can see that this C, this E to T. Can you see? If this is a T, there's a C here, there's an E here, right? And there's another T here. So T, draw for you the line. C, then there's a mini E, then you have a T. The CT system detected this orange line as the change in alphabet. And that was an E phase. Sometimes this trend could be a change to C, the lines. Sometimes these lines can be a change to T. Are you guys with me? I just show you how a way that I have not taught to the rest yet how to detect CT or how to guess where the CT is. Ooh, oh my god, my god, my god. Okay. Some of you got it, some of you got it. Okay. I repeat again. Okay. I understand. Don't worry, I understand. First of all, can we all acknowledge that the highs are the hands? Your hand, right? Your hands are here. Your legs, these are legs. Short term of what I call is market legs. Hands and legs are not an accident when they appear. They are used by guys like us as quantum markers or whatever you call it, dimension markers, quantum markers, whatever you call it. The big boys will intentionally push a price to certain points. That's called time equals price. And because we have a time equals price equation like this, it allows us to do something called Gann-Fan, which remember that time I showed you last week, Gann-Fan, right? So if you have a Gann-Fan here to here, sometimes the big boys will play with tongue view. They will intentionally do this. They will actually have a bar like this. Then they'll do another bar like this, right? And close both above. Why do you think they did this? Or why do you think they have something like this, then this bar, then this bar? What are they doing this for? They are trying to manipulate guys like us to tell you this one or this one, either one is the correct answer. This one. In our time trading advanced program, I always tell you that we always use the bigger area than the smaller area. Most of the time it works, but we might need a back test. That's the advanced content, right? That's the advanced one. But now I'll give you the basic version. So because of these hands and legs, I'm showing you all the hands now and legs. Hands, right? Hands, right? Hands, right? Legs, right? Legs. You always hear me say that when there's empty space, there's energy, right? All the hands and legs are here. I'm pointing you exactly where they are. Right? So just this page alone, I have so many hands and legs to look at. Or so much potential hands and legs. And also we have what we call the beacon point of measurement, right? With the you know the pulley system, you have the counterbalance. So when you have 2 points like this, 1, 2, right, we call it counterbalance. It means that when you do alignment, we align with counterbalance like this. So this will affect our degree angle of measurement. The degree line of measurement will be affected. Because when you have a degree line like this affected, it means there's a high chance the algorithm will buy on the degree line. Because this happens at the background. You can see. That's how people say trend line works. Right? Did you not notice that every time we try to do the trend line in the past, it tends to always be perfect, even though how whether it's near term, short or far term, it tends to always be perfect or near perfect. So you draw here, right? Let's say draw here to here. Okay. Okay, let's say here. Right, so it's about plus minus there. Okay, this is a bit off. Let's adjust a bit to the dollar. Stop there. Then you get a dollar pivot point here. Here's my counter pivot. Okay, let me do a proper zoom for you. 1, 2. You're right. You can see that there will always be some kind of balance, people buying here, right? So no accidents, trend lines. That's what people say trend line works. That's how it's swear by it. Or the energy barrier works. If you have to take this point here, there's something called dimension mirroring. Let's say there's a potential mirror here now. You see. If I think this is the right point of dimension calculation, I'll do a mirror. I'll do a mirror transfer, which is these 2 points. So let's do the trend here to here. Yeah, like I said, I'm explaining you the data point. I'm not teaching this yet, but I will explain the data point. This is actually next week content. If I'm teaching mirroring. Right. No, this cycle not very good. Yeah, but it's still balanced. It balanced here quite nicely. So it's still a valid cycle. Major cycles to balance, sub-cycle balance. Can you see that, right? Interestingly, when I did a line, when this line is formed, the distance and the price, the hands and legs are in sequence. So if I know that this sequence is there, cycle is balanced here. Some traders call this a pitchfork method, right? Then we can also do a sub-clone again. Let's say around here. Right? Then there's a balance here. Can you see this point here? The end of the drop, somewhere the drop here, when the line cut across, there was a balance purchase price there. Because you can see there's a balance point between these points. Harmonical points are still in balance. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's very near sometimes. This high as well is balanced. Can you see this little high here? Draw for your circle again. Here, it's kind of balanced, the price. So I know that this is quite equalized already. How you know it's equalized is because when you see the hands again, right, they must end on the high. If this is not valid, right, how to know this is not valid? If I have a line that does this, let's say around here, let's say I have a line that gives me something like this. You can see the difference now. Something like, let's say around, let's say ends here. It cuts through so many, right, and there's no boundary. I know that the dimension sequence is not good. It means because when I do a pink line like this, right, the pink line you see here, it must be quite clean at the ends of the reversal. But apparently when I do this thing here, it cuts through too many lines. There's no dimension multiplier. Then I know that line here is bullshit. This is one way how I know that the trending line in the dimension is good or not good. One of the ways. Right? Of course, you can do what called sub-line measurements, but then that will be not the main factor. It will not be based on the hands and legs strategies. It can be a sub-dimension method, but I'm not going to explain that today. Because if I explain that, you get more confused only. Right? So with this said, and all the hands and legs are there, you will notice that when you talk about hands and legs, there comes to what we call a rectangle, right? Rectangle or square. And at a square, there's 4 corners, right? There are 4 corners of the square. So if you want to know a sequence, what we are measuring is from a quadrant of the square that we take to multiply outwards. So if you take this thing here, for example, these hands and legs here, where's the other leg? There's no legs here. Okay. Now watch this. If I change my colors, okay, I change to yellow, right? If I draw this line here, this is a hand. This is a hand, right? This is a leg. This is a leg. It's not perfect, right, in terms of thing, but it gives you a rough idea of 2 points measurement. If the market cycles to react that way in the current, in the past, we can double check. And if you take the past and double check and it works currently, we can then project it in the future, which means that we'll know what might happen in the near future. You understand why I said there's 4 points of measurement now? These are the 4 points of measurement. So if you are telling me CT, when a C transfers to an E, transfer to a T, it must go through a point of transfer in any of this before a cycle shifts into either a C, a E, or T. That's one way how to determine this. And in most cases, whenever you see my cycles, when we issue a BMM, you'll notice it's usually a E or T phase. Does this make sense so far? Since you're asking how the CT was formed. What about the rest? Anyone's lost so far? I will explain to you why we consider the point of measurement. Good. So earlier the example, right? Using this square principle again, what did I do? To be frank, I forgot what I did, right? But I just do a fresh one. If I were to choose 2 hands, here and here, for example, or I choose two hands, here and here, right? Then I'm trying to project what might happen here and what might happen at the back. So if I were to draw a line, let's say I use the tight cycle, I'll project it at the back, right? I will know that there's a high probability that all the lines you're seeing right now is a CTT transfer mark. So let's check. Let's do a little back testing. So if this is high, is this a T to C, right? If this line to this line is a T, if this is a T, then this is actually a C. You see here it's like a kind of C, but you know that in between there's an E now, right? The potential E forming, right? So this point here we know it's an E, but there's a possibility that this might then become the T again, because there's a potential E. It doesn't mean that it exactly goes to, it doesn't exactly reach the C, which is ET. It can be also the E. This E can be a big E that engulfs this area here, but it's not T. It depends how you interpret the CT. So if this is a T, then this area might be E. But then again, you have a situation where both E, C, and E are in the same area. But look at the line beforehand. Is this a T? Technically, it's a T, right? Then this area could be a C. Well, this area could be an E. And this area of jumping out, right? The E, where they suggested this line, because there's a lock side down, right? There's a drop down, right? Drop down here, right? It could be a point of transit. So if you say that this is an E, then you can't argue me, say, isn't this the T here? And it's E. I say there's a pullback, right? That forms the C or E duration. So if you look at the more obvious one, like here, T is here, right? For example, T is here. And this is a C, right? Then this will then make sense to be an E. So what you're trying to do right now is that you're trying to use the lines that you see on time factors as possible changing points of dimension lines. CT was an easy version to spot for you to understand the entire structure. But if you want to go to the nitty-gritty time prediction quadrant, then the line of time projections will actually tell you where it might be based on the hands and legs of the four quadrants on a basic dimension multiplications. Does this make sense? In other words, if I'm looking at, let's say, a big hand right now, two big hands, right? Here and here, for example. And I kind of like this one, right? You got to test it. Then it's telling me that, right, every cycle of this is one cycle, one C, one cycle, right? We know that this is one cycle phase where both C, E, and T exist together, right? Then it suggests to me that in the past, right, there could be a CT cycle that existed. Can you see that this is like a C here, and there's an E here, and there's a T here. It also can tell me that there is a possibility that both cycles, there's a double CT in one cycle. That's not for me to control. But it tells me that this area is where the CET lines or one of the alphabets change its behavior patterns. Because if you look back further here, can you see that this is like a T, right? And this could be a C, or this could be an E phase. So if you can see, if you assume that this entire area here is, let's say here is a C, for example, this area is a C, for example, then this area could be an E actually, right? But the point where it changes and reversals was determined by this line here that the alpha might have changed. So this line will actually guide me through where the sequence of change will occur, and it does detect a CET function as well. Not the best style, but it gives you, if you look at a big area, a mega T. But you can also then cut out the T into a smaller T, into this one, right? And this is the smaller T, somewhere around here to, let's say here to here, right? Here to here. And then your cycle of C starts here. And your E starts here. And then you have a micro T again. You see that? So all these lines just gives me a guiding point. You ask me what's one way to determine when the CT is coming? This is one of them. One more advanced way. Does this make sense? %90 got it, Annie? What about the rest? What about those who say you're lost just now? Let's go back to another cycle. Can you see that when I did the same line, did I change the line at all? When I take the distance here to here, right? Then I randomly take this distance. I shift it here. Is this the same duration? Is this the same duration? The duration has never changed at all, right? The duration never once changed at all, right? You notice the duration never changed at all? Then why is it that when we do the duration change, how come every time this line appear, the behavior change? It's because it's an underlying dimension structure holding and changing markets. So how to determine cycles? Very simple. It's back to your three thing in the webinar, right? The three thing in the webinar is what? You have dimension, you have astrological cycles, and you have harmonics, right? I say the time trading is made of just three components. Correct? So what you're seeing right now is a dimension component of how we actually understood the cycles far deeper. One of the ways. So I already show you how this line was formed, right? We take two structure points of measurements. Within a square, we got 4 points, 2 legs, 2 hands. So where we take the point of determining a point is based on the hands and legs, which is based on the square theory that there are 4 corners in a square. A square can be a high to high, low to high, high to low. For this case, what I just did earlier was that I took this square here to this square here. That's it, dimension. The more complicated one will be a sub D within a parallel. So I'll give you an example of what's something more complicated. So why the advanced program, I stop some people signing up advanced program is because when I do a cross dimension like this, for example, right? Can you see that this midpoint here, when I draw a box here, this point here, these 2 bars is an odd bar. Can you see there's a line here, right? Line here, right? The behavior of these 2 bars is an M3. It caused this jump. And it caused this protection here. It didn't break down to do an uptrend. But it's formed because we have a dimension between 2 points. And you have an imaginary point of measurement that normal traders cannot see. So if I take this 2 point and I measure and I project the energy, let's say I take this 2 point and I recounter project energy. Now I'm using Gann-Fan method. Watch this. So if I were to take this same point and do it on TradingView, right? And I project a Gann box here, a Gann square fan here, like this. Can you not suddenly see what's happening here? Why is there a buy and buy pressure here? Why is there some support area here before the market collapse? Why the bar keep closing above this line, but keeps flying downwards? Why I can take this area here out of thin air? Quite scary, right? Why is it that the market's like sliding down, want to drop or want to go on top? And why it should be BM? Can you see down the area here? Why is this having this pillar of sliding? And why is there a drop or go up? Because they're following this damn line. And the line comes from here. It comes from what? It comes from the dimension pillar of these 2 points. It all starts from a dimension base. There's a root to all where I measure from. Does this make sense? Are you guys seeing the answers now? This dimension, one of the principles of dimension. Can you know why that this is happening right now? This slope thing is happening. Why I'm so annoyed? Because they really sure they want to short, but then they don't reverse. It's because there's a dimension guiding line there. It's taken from a hidden dimension factor here. So all these things are not accidental. When I issue a sequence, let's say here, right? I issue based on 2 hands. Then I take a point of measurement where the high measurement point, right? I know there's a hidden dimension, and I'm trying to find where the quadrant dimensions. So I know there's a quad dimension somewhere around here. And when I want to test it, I need to test whether this quad area, this quadrant of dimension shift is available. And I can see that here there's some distortion energy, right? When I do a line here and here, there's a distortion energy. I know that that point is a valid Gann-Fan. I can then project a kind of consciousness in the market where I can project a line and kind of follow these lines where the highs and lows close, you can see the distortion where the market is sticking to. It's actually sticking to this line here right now, taken from a thin air. Now, this is one way to determine the CET in a very advanced way. By this dimension. There's no accident. No methods I showed to you, there's no accident on. So I give you guys an early stage on the CET is to understand where the cycles flows first before you jump into the dimensions. That's why CET was at the front. But you guys ask me how to determine what is a possible shift. I'm telling you dimensions. Because the quadrants multiplication, I know the dimensions are where. That's why I call it time prediction. I can predict where the next quadrants are. Understand? So if you say this thing is a quadrant here, if you like this quadrant dimension here, then when do you think the next quadrant will be? Right? If here to here makes sense, then we'll have an interesting date on the 23rd March. You can see that 23rd March, we have a line that forms here. And we know that that day, something might happen. And if this quadrant were to go on, or this dimension go on, then the next point of interest will be 11 May. If you're seeking pure dimensions. Because why? If you look at the past, this area here, there was a shift in energy. You can see on this time here, there's a shift in energy. There's a C, right? There's E, and there's a T. I mean, I didn't check where's the new moon. I don't care. But I mean, if you say it's a new moon, fine. I didn't check. The moon happened to be there. And maybe they're planning to do something on that day. I don't know. So sometimes you don't need to use astro or anything. You just use dimension, you can find it. But if you want to use astrology to determine that is a better factor, then use it as one of the factors. Understand how CET now does a transit in energy. That's why I say I need you to understand CET first. Don't jump to this yet. It's a lot to absorb in. Right? Get it? Can we move on to today's class? Because I need to teach you some basic stuff first. I haven't answered the CET questions when it transits really, right? Or where it might transit, right? Using one of the dimension methods. Right? So we now know where it might be. So this is one of the determining factors of how it should be meant. One of the factors how it should be meant. It's not the only one, but it's one of it. I check the crossing of the quadrant and check all these things. That's why I taught you the first thing I teach you is hands and legs. And I teach you what I say I use the hands and legs and use the Gann-Fan, right? This method first. This one first. This is the basics. I can see that there's potential support here, right? That's the front. Get it? This is what Gann's trying to teach to the public. One of the things he's trying to teach to the public, but they couldn't do it. So they came out with something called secret angles. Jenkins came in and took over, and Jenkins released something like this, where Jenkins uses Fibonacci as well with quadrants. Jenkins is a master of dimension. So this other time trader called Jenkins, Michael Jenkins. So he masters this thing. But you want to find him in New York, it costs about 8,000 to consult him 2 days. Just FYI, right? One of my quant is his student. So and Jenkins one is more complicated. The Jenkins one includes like this thing here with a quadrant cycle. Let's show you how crazy it goes. They can do a quadrant cycle like this. How cycle points here. So I show you the one that Jenkins uses. All right, here to here. Quadrant cycles around here. Okay. Alignment. 6 alignment. Quadrant cycles. Energy. Okay, because it's on TradingView, it's quite inaccurate. Because the TradingView will want to correct it to the nearest day. So it's about here. Cycles quadrant area here. 1, 2. Correct. Okay. Cycles quadrant here, 1, 2, 3 x factors. 1.90 degrees down. There, answer. Can you see what I just did? Can you see if I remove this line away now? Can you see how the support resistance are? Scary, right? I just did it fresh in front of you guys. Oh. Can you see the support resistance line? Can you see the support lines? Teach you guys this next time. There's no out in air. There's never out in air. Can you see when I draw a quadrant here, the line here? Can you see this area here? This bar here is a pump. There's a pump there. Can you see a pump here? That's it. You want to know more? The 14 days program will go through details. But of course, your brains will melt also. And this is another example. All right. Can we start with Casey now? Okay. So let's start off. We missed out a lot. I'm going to jump straight to Casey first. I'll teach you I'll go through the what's it called? Okay, so right now, yeah, Casey first. I'll just jump to Casey first. Okay. We do Casey first, then I'd rather do this tomorrow with you slowly because I need you guys to be fresh tomorrow. So tomorrow one we'll do the risk management style and ATR tomorrow, right? So this you should do for today's or what? So I'll do that tomorrow. So we're going to do something called KC first. KC is a very simple strategy. Let's see my horrors, my account as well. I don't know how's going on the markets. It's still pumping, which I don't like. It means my US 2000 is shit right now. It's probably 4,000 loss. Yeah, it's probably a loss. Can you see that? Observe something. Look at the number. US. Look at the pattern, right? Look at the pattern now. Look at the number. Then look at US 500. Can you see the patterns the same or very similar? Do you notice the patterns are similar? Then you go to US 30. Do you notice that patterns? US 30 is a bit out of sync. But if you look at US 2000 and US 500, right, the patterns are so similar that there's something spooky going on. Right? Yeah. So you observe 500, right? It's like this, right? Then you observe US 2000. Why do they look the same? Up is up. Then now you look at UK. UK is 40. What's UK? UK is so I forgot UK. I don't trade UK much. What's the code name of UK? UK is the let's check here from trade. FTX. Okay. Just check. Sorry, my brain just fried. Right. Are you sure FTX or UK 100? Right? Yeah. This cannot be. I need a number behind. Okay. You can see that all of them, right? Okay, UK is a bit out, but there's this pump up that's happening right now. Minor pump up. UK, right? Then you go to HSI. Unsing, right? Interestingly, you can see that all of them have this little hook pattern today. Everyone has this little hook. Everyone has this little hook right now, today. Notice that? Let's say you go to Nikkei. Nikkei, right? So all of them are pointing up. I don't know why. So today, right, the markets, right, the Asian markets has pointed they're looking at going up. That's what they're suggesting, which means that it could also subsequently affect today's mood on the US 500. It could, but the most obvious is obviously the UK, the what's it called US 30. That one most obvious. Probably my account's at 4,000 right now. I think one of my accounts.
Yeah, it's $4,000 rate. I don't care. All right. So let's see what's happening. What I will show you. Yeah. So I need you guys to learn this thing right now, the KC. Right. So KC, please note, this is what we call band strategy method. Why we do use KC, we don't use Bollinger or this kind of stuff is because, right, let me show you the difference. On your studies, there's this thing called studies. By the way, if you're on Trade Nation, right, please do yourself a favor and disable this thing called Smart Zoom. It's damn annoying. What this does is that, right, you click on it, right, you zoom in, right, the things will reload and you go to lower time frame. Zoom in again, then you will reload to 1 hour. Zoom in again, you go to 15 minutes. Zoom in again, it goes to 1 minute. So this thing here is very annoying. They say that they think they want to analyze quickly on the month, the minute trend is that it's quite good. That's what it does. It does on the things. But for us, we want to stay on the same trend. I'm trying to spot for something. So when you look at this method and look at something called Bollinger Bands, BB, right? You hear people talk about this thing called Bollinger Bands being so good reversal. Not true. Can you see what's happening here? The Bollinger Bands method will expand, constrict and expand, right? There's always this constricting and expansion. In other words, right, the Bollinger will tell the person that this or this breakout here is to buy. So if you're a trader, right, you're using Bollinger Bands, default settings, you will buy here already and you'll be screaming here murder because you're losing money. You see that? If you're a Bollinger Bands trader. So we're using default right now to show you why we don't use Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands can be good for this kind of reversal, yes. But because of what we call the inconsistency of the band calculation, they constantly do a very low count calculation to constrict and expand, will give you something very unstable to calculate, right? You'll be one moment saying, oh my God, overband, oh my God, overstretch, overband. You will get a lot of whipsaw cases like this. We don't want that. That's why Bollinger Band is not great. So the countermeasure for this method that we were studying is what we call wave of reversal cycles on the multiplication level. So how it works is this thing. KC is what we call a reversal, potential reversal multiplier, where we use past data to catch the futures reversal. So if you touch the KC default, you get this long tube, this thingy, right? What the hell is this long tube, right? So I'm going to remove Bollinger Band now so that you can see the difference. In our strategy, our minimum KC is always KC3. There will always be 3 KC in all our settings. But if you want to use more, yeah, it's called counter channel. You can use more so long as it makes sense. I'll give them our default setting that is based on some other studies in the past with others, right? Our default setting that we like to use is 13. We found 13, right? We think that people are hesitant to use this number, especially Angmos or those guys, Caucasian guys, is because they feel 13 is unlucky. The Chinese believe 14 is lucky, but 13 is the English version, the Friday 13 at all. We found that period 13 seems to be quite accurate. We tested a few methods with 12, 13, 14, we tried a few. We couldn't get the good results. The good result except for 13. 13 was actually the best result so far we got. So 13 is the moving average to use. And we will always use exponential. Remember, you got EMA, SMA, all the stuff, right? So we use exponential for this. The shift number you see here, right, is what we call a band multiplier, which means how many times of the multiplication number of the price when we multiply up and down so that you get the external lines. You get these external lines. How many times you want to multiply based on the numbers you're getting right now from the point of source. So if the line of point of source, average point of source is here, how far is this to here? That's being multiplied, push out. We call it the multiplication numbers, right? So this is where you must use past data to synchronize to futures data. I'll give you default first. The default that we use for this, number one, is 1.3. Right. So we found that
if 13 and 1.3, right, it means that this number here, the point where we're measuring from the 13, the push out factor here and here, right, based on the average move from the past, will tell you that this line exists as the first potential reversal point. So if you're trading here and buy here, goes here, touch and go, and come here, sometimes you get short from here and you can expect the market to go to the other end. You can also take profit in the middle point. Does this make sense so far? So we only wait for the extreme bands like Bollinger Bands, but it's a stabilized version. It doesn't give you the constrict, open, close, and it doesn't give you a certain point where it's constrict and drop like that. You won't get caught in this kind of mess. So the distance between these 2 points is calculated, and it forms a band, a sudden band of movement, right? You can see clearly that there's something up already, right? Why you touch here in reverse, right? So in order to enhance this further, remember the zoning strategy. If you have a trend line like this, a support line, right? And a resistance line, right? Resistance, right? Then in between the support, you have a sub-support, right? Let's say support 1, support 2. Say this is another line here. And in a bar that's like this, touch here, and another bar that does this, right? You know that this is a zone. So likewise, when we have this zone principle, when we put into practice, right? This zone principle, we found that there must be a breathing space. And that's where KC2 comes in. So the KC2, when we found using 13, will act as a multiplier buffer to form the zone. So if you use the second line, 13 here, and use the shift as 2.1, right? We'll unfill the channel. So what I normally do is I do the zone as red, right? This is white. You notice that this is the additional buffer like this. So the first line here, we'll close this first. Unfill this shit. All right. You see, interestingly, this buffer zone is the same as this buffer zone. So if you have a situation where the market shoots all the way up here, right? You happen to short here. Where do you put your stop loss for this case? Your stop loss will be at the buffer zone top here. This will be your risk. Your reward for this case is either to the middle point. Okay, I don't know why my thing shut me up. Here, 1 hour, or you can go 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. That is a 1 to 4 hour risk management. Get it? All clear so far? Does it make sense? Can you see how potent this can be? Right? So if you have a situation like this, right, where the market is on the extreme high, let's say you enter short here, your stop loss will be around this area. It will suggest to you that this should be your stop loss, around here to here. Higher time frame is easier to execute this. But what if you have those extreme move, right? Let's look for extreme move now, right? You can see that. Okay, let's say here, right? Here. It's so bullish, right? It's so bullish. And you happen to short here. And it hits here. You cut loss, right? If it comes all the way here, and it goes beyond the bar, technically speaking, you can actually short again or short here. So now without the extra information, I'm going to show you a third buffer line. That's why I say this thing must always have 3 buffer lines. You can use the extreme red line to short. Means you can short the extreme red line, no issue. Right? You can. In fact, I'll go as far as saying that you can actually go beyond one more step. If you think that 1.3 is not good enough, or 2.1 not good enough, you can choose. Now, these are updated materials. You can use a KC. KC, right? If you want to go to extreme band, can I teach you extreme band method first before I teach you the inner method? That's my KC, right? Go here. This thing, I will use 60. My shift period will be adjusted according to the most recent highs. So I'll usually use a very obvious line. White can use, up to you. Or you use blue, up to you. Right? And you can see that if I use 5, right? What happens if I use 5? It doesn't really touch at all, right? You can see that it hardly touches, right? 5. It hardly touches, right? I want something more frequent. The stronger the band, the bigger the reversal. That's the sequence. It's like a rubber band, right? You pull longer, the reverse factor will be stronger. Right? You pull the rubber bands further, the reversal side will be longer, right? That's how you form your E to T. That's how your E to T forms, right? Your E here to extreme to T is formed because of rubber band snap, right? So what we like to do is that I personally like to use this number called 4.2. We found that, right? EMA 64.2 works. So you can see that when you have an alignment here like this, and you know this is a bit extreme, there's an almost guaranteed chance, right? That right around here that you probably have like a 99.9% chance, right, of a reversal here, around here, which of course this thing was the line here, right? Much later, but it's almost guaranteed that if any price touch here, any of this line here, that's like a 99.9% chance of a reversal. Get it? This is for index. We have not tested on other stuff yet. We tested on FX. All is also very, very pretty. Because if the market were to drop too much in the FX, who do you think intervenes? If the entire currency were to collapse and it's major currency, who do you think will intervene? Who will intervene? Answer, please. The Feds, central banks, all this thing, right? ECB all intervene, correct? So if you're talking about FX, if you have an extreme case of a sudden drop, right? All these things here is where the government or all the institutions all will intervene. Their job is to keep the game running. So when you talk about extreme bands like this, where the price suddenly collapses down, right? Governments will start intervene, right? This is where it catches the government to intervene. But they use a point of reference to the past. So your job for this extreme band, the third band, right, is to find all the extreme points on the markets, let's say here, and determine and adjust the multiplier to match as many, but not too many, but as many tips as possible, the hands of the market or the legs of the market as possible, where the band cycle actually goes to. So for example, like here, it's a total collapse, right? It's a crash, right? Okay, this method sucks for this. I need to explain the weakness. This method sucks for a T market. King bar will kill this like mad. And this is actually done by astrology move that I've shown you guys on Optima before. There's a purple box here, right? This was the collapse on 2020. So the King bar is good. Not King bar. The CT is very good for a sideways market. It's heavily used during the C and E phase. So if you know that that period is a C phase of the market or E phase, KC is the weapon of choice. Because if you go out to lower time frame, right, let's now go to lower time frame. Right. Let's say we take 3 minutes. You can see that there's always this sequential of touch bottom, touch bottom, touch bottom. This today, live. Right? Can you see that there's always touch bottom, touch bottom? You must adjust your band accordingly. So if you think that my numbers are not great or the market has changed, why don't you try 50 SMA? 50 SMA. If you think you can find a better formula, adjust to what you think is right for the markets you're trading on. Mine is just a guideline, right? And here's another thing. You can be creative about it. If you say, Max, I found that SMA is better, I say use it. Max, I want to go beyond your 3 barrels. I think your 3 barrels is a bit funny. I think sometimes the market will tend to overshoot like this. I want to create a 4th barrel. What are the principles of creating another barrel? So if you want to use more than one KC, what some of the algos, and I just talked to the guys, the race guys, what they did was that they use a band management and they use a martingale on the band management. So you use something like KC, right? Lace Trader uses something like KC. That's what they did. They have something like the multiple bands like this in the system, and they will martingale their trade here and here. That's the thing that I'm a bit scared, because they use a little bit of martingale in their programming. So let's go beyond, right? We can do what we call multi-stacking entry. Not recommended for new traders, but if you are very good at risk management, this is a killer. Yeah, I'll explain martingale later, right? So let me explain how we go beyond from this KC tree now. You open up a second KC, right? Let's say close this first. If you believe that 13 EMA is the best, and earlier you already had 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, right? You can follow the same multiplier. Let's say you want to do something like, let's say yellow again. Right, show the external. And you can change this multiplier to reflect the next dimension point. If 1.3 and 2.1 is 0.8, why don't you use 2.9? So let's try 2.9 and see what happens. Now, can you see that when I use 2.9, which is I'm multiplying the number from 1.3, 2.1, 2.9, right? Do I get a better reversal points at extreme ends? I do. Can you see when it comes to extremities now, the 2.9 actually gives me a better entry for extreme trades, point reversals. Can you see that now? So you are free to adjust this thing to whichever markets on your desire. I don't enforce usage of this. What numbers we give to you is just a guideline to start. If you think 2.9 sucks, you want to use 5, you use 4, you use 3.2. Be my guess. The job is for you to adjust to hit as many of these to the outer point as possible, but it touches. This is the bench strategy method. So if I use 2.9, can you see that I could actually buy a lot of 2.9? I said I will not take any 1.3. I think it sucks. I'll wait for the multiplier 2.9 because the 2.9 makes more sense during this market season. So the market season is very volatile. A lot of extreme strikes up and down. Then we will ignore all 1.3 methods. We only use 2.9. We can also say, oh, based on the recent 3 minutes bar, based on the behavior markets, 2.9 sucks. They are responding more to the 3.2 or something like that. Then adjust to that number and use that as your guiding tool in your trading. Because of this method, you can take multiple trades a day. You can also say, okay, I'll put my stop loss at 2.9. Or let's say I only trade a red color line. For example, here, right? I will try to buy at this red color line, but my stop loss will be at the yellow line, for example. Yeah, I'll show you one example later, right? So if I see a drop like this, and I know there's an extreme drop, right? I come here, my stop loss will be here. Because why? At the point of this area here, this is stop loss. So this is my risk. And the market seems to collapse, right? By the time the market comes to here and drops here, I know something's wrong. You can actually choose short it because the market is below the 30 moving average. So another trick to do is that, right? If the moving average, right, the fast one, that's why I use 50. We use the SMA 50, right? Remember your technical trading, like 13 cross 50, you know, the 13 cross 50 method, right? This one, your 2 lines, 13 and 50, right? The 13 cross 50 is what's it called? What's it called? What setup is this called? Is this a bull bear? When this happens, 13, 50, 50 is here. What is this? Is a bear, right? So all these rules will apply as well. You must understand that you cannot blindly use KC. You must open your eyes and look for changes like this. So if you see that a lot of price is still below the 13 EMA, right? Right, and you see the price is going lower, and you really lost the first trade. Let's say here you lost the first trade, right? You entered a short, you entered a long here. You saw this big bar. You try to you enter a long here. and it still breaks down lower, it's below this line, sometimes you don't bother to long it, just short it. Why? Because this is a momentum breakout. This is what we call a momentum flush, and that's where it flushed all the way down. So if a situation like this appears, you know what you need to do next when you have a momentum flush like this? You can also use KC as your stop loss buffer. So there's something more advanced that I never disclosed. Now I'm disclosing. If a situation like this appears, you happen to short, happen to go long here. Stop loss is here, right? Right? The stop loss here. Your next point of action to catch the momentum is this. Listen very carefully. Can you see the 13 SMA here, or EMA? Can you see that this is the point is change side, right? You short here, right? This point to a point of measurement will be your new risk factor. Instead of longing it, you short. This will become your R1, R2, R3. Can you see where I'm going with this now? The reverse KC method. And where do you take target at? Where do you think your target will be? On the extreme end, where do you think your target will be? That's where your big KC number comes in, your 50. So if you know that KC target is here, and use 60, let's say 60 EMA, 60, right? And 4.2. And you know that I always say that the extreme end usually has a 99% chance of reversal, right? Can you see that if you use the same risk area here, where do you think your target will be as a price predictor? This is price prediction, right? Your take profit will be at the point where the blue line is. It doesn't have to be exactly on the spot, but you know that somewhere around here on a multiplier factor is where your target profit is. This one missed by a bit. But now you're reversing KC to the other end. You're using the extreme end, right, as your targets. So if you are caught in a mess like this, right, and the market became a momentum flush, the C, E, and T phase start to kick in. Then, and you know that you tested, it sucks, right? You say, oh, cannot be, the C and T has appeared already. Now it's T, right? And the T keep dropping, right? This is where you reverse the KC to use the midpoint of the band as your guiding tool of your stop loss. And you just take a train right downwards. Isn't this cool? For those of you who are your seniors who came before, this is the upgraded version of the KC method. It's a reverse, it's a new method. Those of you who came before, right? You notice that I didn't teach this, all right? Now I'm teaching you how to catch a momentum breakdown safely. This is a reversal KC, not taught in the previous batch. Okay. So we always talk about R ratio, right? R ratio. If you risk $1, right? If you risk $1 and you earn back $1 and your method works 50%, what is it? 1, what is it? You get 0, right? But if your method works 50%, but every time you take this trade, you win $1. Every time you win, you lose $1. But every time you win $3. What happened now? After 10 trades later, you lost 10 times, but you win $30. Which means what? You get $20 net gain. So your R ratio rides on this principle as well. Instead of going up, right, when I take reversal, we've used the midpoint, the moving average, as the guiding tool to stop loss when you're taking a momentum trade downwards. So if you saw a momentum trade downwards and you want to capitalize a crash like this, right? Usually after the extreme band, not the word extreme band, right? Like a KC 2.1, I mean the strength 2.1, right? Or even 2.9 as I suggested, right? Like this case here. You saw the market crash down here, you saw a big bar, you buy, right? You buy here. Your stop loss is here. For example, here is your stop loss. This is your 1R ratio, right? It goes up, happy. You can also choose to what? When you use R ratio, right, your R cycle law kicks in, right? If you go up, right, it means that this area here will be your reward, right? You take profit at the middle point here. You can choose to take profit here or based on the multiplier of this. So this is one box, right? And this is your risk, right? Your risk is this size. Now let's talk about reversal trade first. Extreme reversal, right? This is how much money you risk. You risk about 6 points, right? So let's change this to wait, this is your risk. Worst case, you lose this money. Best case, you make this money, right? Your target is the white line here. This white line, right? This is your target. You say, okay, around this white line, I must take profit already. Or you can choose the other end as a target. So let's say you do not know what's happening here. You just know that here is our targets, right? And as soon as this thing goes up, when the market goes up by this box size, right? This box size here, right? Here. Right? That's why I don't like to teach on the trading views, not trading Trade Nations platform. As long as it goes here, you can choose to move your stop loss entry to here. You can already. Why? 1R has hit, right? Anything above this line, if it hits the target, you can take profit, right? 1 to 3. So technically, this will give you 1 to 3 returns on your stop loss, right? However, if you somehow chose to write this up and you think it's going to go up to here, but it didn't go up, and this thing collapsed on the price, you know something's wrong, right? You see a big bar appear, you're like, holy shit, a big bar, right? This is a big bar. So what can you do? What can you do when you see the thing collapse like this and go down here and be like, oh my God, and you get emotional and say, this looks like it's a bear market, or you wait for retest, right? It looks like it's going to be bear all the way tonight. I'm trying to use the KC to write the bear. So if I know this is a bear and I just short the market without thinking, I short it here. Let's say I short the price here. This is where I short the market. My target will be where? Below the blue line already, right? So where do you take the target now? Your target can be based on a multiplier. If you have a situation where this outer line is already oversold, right? Like this, right? Oversold. But market is still collapsing. Then your targets will be based on your R ratio. So where do you think your stop loss will be? Where do you think your R will be? If you short here, the line of the moving average here will be your R ratio stop loss. So if you have a short here, this or the next bar, right? This or this, the next bar, right? Here or here will be your R ratio. Which means that, right, if the market were to go back up here like this case, you will not cut loss yet. Some people will get timid and cut loss at the white line. So it depends on you. Do you want to use the point where you enter the markets here as a stop loss, if you're reversing market, or you want to use the white line here? This is where you, as a trader, will come in differently. Is there advantage to use a stop loss like this? There is. You risk lesser overall, but you get played a lot by the moving average, a lot of manipulation. Sometimes it's better to use the bigger stop loss to prevent whipsaw. These are all the whipsaw, right? So if that is the risk area, then what do you think makes sense of profits? Let's say you take this white line here as your risk area, the stop loss is here. Then your profit aim should be at least 1R, right? Minimum here. Or 2R, right? Or for this case here is a 1.5, 1.6. So if you're to short here, right, go back up and collapse down and hits your 1R, your stop loss here must move to entry, especially for momentum sliding down method. Because for this case here, if you short the market here, it only hit 1R, right? It hit here 1R, right? But you see a lot of lines, a lot of legs appear. It means the market is going to reverse, right? And when the market just break out like this and drop right one last time, this is where you fly already. This is a signal of the big boy. They want to pump. But can you see they hit back your entry? Worst case, you get $0 or $1. Correct. So this is one of the ways to prevent the defensive or aggressive. If you're aggressive, if you're very aggressive, very defensive, you use a white line. But sometimes being too defensive is no good. I miss a lot of trades because I'm too defensive. Right? I screw up a lot of trades because I'm too defensive. So sometimes actually being aggressive and using a bigger stop loss makes better sense overall. It makes better sense. Get it? So this is the way to counter the momentum king KC. The other method to use is called King Bar. So because we're trying to enhance the KC, because the KC has become very irrelevant lately in the last 2 years. So we wanted to find a way to enhance our KC. And this is the way how to enhance the KC now. This is the updated materials. Any questions? Of course, if you, the simple rules apply, if the market is above the standard trend line, the moving average, and anything above here, look to buy long. Right. You can also use enter around here to go long if you want to chase the trade. You can. You can use these areas to go long as well. Right. Any questions? Is this strategy clear? This is an enhanced strategy, but is it clear why use this method like this? Now for the request on 50 minutes, right? Show the 50 minutes chart now. So same principle applies. If something happens like this and looks like extreme band and it's keep going up, right? What we need to do is to take the same area here, principle. Let's say here, right? 50 minutes all the way pump, right? Let's say here, you short. Come here. Your stop loss is around here. Let's say your stop loss is here. You choose this area stop loss. Right? This is your stop loss is here. Right? Around here, something's wrong already. You get kicked out of the trade. Right? If you kick out of the trade, it continues going up, right? And you see the watch red line. You mark the red line. You say, okay, something's wrong here. Let's look at this red line. Right? Let's say this is the next bar. This red line is your high. If this red line is high and it breaks this red line some more, it means the market is going to go on long. Right? So what you do is that this area here will be your entry. Long. Your stop loss will be at the point where you entered here. So your risk bar is here. Right? This is your risk. This is your risk. Your reward is here. Right? How many are? So what has the market done so far? He has given you back a 1R ratio so far. 1.6 actually. In other words, right, this trade you have made money already. Okay. What happens is that, right, if you study the basic moving average crossover like this, you have a point of crossing like this here. When you have 50 and you have 13 and 60 or 50 cut across each other. In the basic technical system, this is a long call. Usually they tell you, they're telling people to buy or look for chance to buy because the market would like to retest and flush you out, right? So if I see a crossing like this happen, 13, right, and a 50 breakout like this, it tells me that, right, the longer upper trend is actually a bull for that period. So when you're on a KC, and if I'm shorting and I know the upper trend is bull because of this happened here, I'll be very careful of shorting. I will play less on shorting, more to find opportunity to go along. Because the standard crossover method, which is your 1350 cross, right? Keep in play. So if I remove all the KC now, and I just use 60 or 50, right? 60, let's say I use 13 and 60. If I just use the standard one, let's say I use the standard training method, the one that they teach you in the very first learn class, this method here. Your crossover, right? This method, right? EMAs whatsoever, right? These are all the signal, right? This is where your basic method comes in. So if I use a basic method like a moving average, I use the same thing, 13, EMA, and I use 60, right? This is what they teach you in the standard program, right? My look for long call is here and here. Short here, long here, right? This is the signal point. Anything above this line, you continue holding a long, right? Until you cross each other again, right? You cross over like, okay, let's say look at a back case. Let's look at a good crossover method, like this one. Signal come here, you short, right? You short here, enter here, then it goes all the way down here until it crosses here. A lot of people take profit here already. It doesn't matter if you drop one time because you have already made a killing. You have made a killing like this already, right? This will be a killing, right? Of course, it tells you to short again, so I can choose again, up to you. because cross and cross again. Here came about cross and cross and short again, right? This is the old school or the one that they teach people at the start. So our method is the same thing, but with enhancement. So when we take this thing and enhance it, I'm going to use the same settings. I use 13 and 60. So if I use this thing, I open up, let's say 4 KCs, right? With the extra band now. And the first 3 will be 13. Right? And the second one, and the third one, let's say I use 2.9. Use up to you. You use blue if you want to show 2.9. The color's up to your choice. And the other one, 60, 4.2, right? Do you notice something? My rate, my 60 EMA, all this thing, is the same bloody line as what I use for KC. It's the same thing. If I remove if I remove 60 now, look, 60, right? The 60 is still here, it's still present. The 60 line, right? We should just change colors to show it to you. Say, let's use okay, this yellow line, 60. It's a bit confusing. Change it another color. Let's say green, right? This 60 line, and if I overlay the same 6 KC again, right? It's the same thing. You see that? It's the same. It's just that now we have an enhancement. So we are doing the enhanced version using a simple stuff in the past. And now that we know that it is a momentum breakout method, like what's going on now, we can do a reversal trade on KC. Right? So the same thing is just with bands, correct? The bands itself, and this overrides the Bollinger Bands. Because Bollinger Bands doesn't give you the extra band reversal method. Bollinger Band doesn't do that. It sucks. If I had to run a Bollinger Band here, you won't make sense at all. Right? That's why I tell people, don't use Bollinger Bands. It sucks. Look, what is he trying to tell you? What's the doing the Bollinger Bands? What is he trying to tell you? I changed all to green. What's the Bollinger Band trying to tell you? It doesn't tell you where to reverse. But the case will tell you how to reverse a trade and when to measure the trade reversal to. Bollinger Band doesn't. It's one of the worst methods out there. Even though some people say they don't know to use it, I say you're stupid. It makes no technical sense. Get it now? Anyone use Bollinger Band before? For those of you who are here, any of you use Bollinger Band before? Are you going to change to this method now, the KC? This is the better version of the Bollinger Bands. You can see how inferior. Can you see how inferior Bollinger Bands is to KC? It's complete rubbish. Right. Any questions? Anything you want to ask about this? So remember, there is no hard and fast rule. All you do, yeah. Breakout, right? You do a reversal breakout, right, for Bollinger Bands. But you must remember this thing. There's no hard and fast rule on this thing. What you need to do is to adjust the multiplier as much as possible. You can adjust the multiplier to what suits you, right? You adjust the multiplier. So if you have a, let's say you have a, okay, let's say you have a situation like, let's do one on FX, right? So I'll show you all the index one. Now let's do one on FX. Okay, now the market's going down again. It's good. Let's say we go pound. Okay, give me an FX pair. Name me an FX pair. I don't know, whatever you guys trade. Name me one pair. Okay, pound US. Okay, now let's apply the same method on pound US. So reapply, you can see? Now, if it's too much noise, right? If you think that this is too much noise, you can always reduce your KC. If you think it's too much noise, reduce it, right? So let's say we use the default now, the default. So if you see that let's say there's a short here. Can you see here? Let's say there's a short here. There's a short here, right? I just pick a random spot. You know the signal short, right? Crossover short. And you somehow chose to go against trend. You went to buy. You bet buy here, right? And you see this is your stop loss is here, right? Were you right when it went up? If this stop loss is here, did you, number one, move your stop loss to entry when it hits 1R ratio? Did you choose to take profit at 2R ratio? Did you choose to take profit here? Let's say you manage to find an extreme band, you bought over here right now, this point here. You somehow managed to buy at the red line when the price touched the red line, and you tell yourself, okay, price touch. Okay, I'm going to pull this out so you can see. Right. Price crossover, short here, break through the red line, buy here or here. Either or is fine. You know this is, so you chose to buy here. You're like, oh my God, so bearish, but let's try to do a counter trend. My backside feels itchy. Let's try to go against the market. Sometimes you're right, you know, when you see an extreme move like this, you go against the market, you're correct. So it's not wrong. So our next question I ask you is, where's the stop loss? So you tell me, okay, because it's here, the KCCA is here, stop loss. I will choose to use it as a stop loss. Nothing wrong. Now, the price went up. And here is your 1R ratio. Right? In our principle, our stop loss over here must move to entry. It goes 2 ratio up. If you choose to be greedy and not take profit, because you expect the line to be touched and take profit, you can. It's not wrong. Why? Because when you choose to buy here, you are expecting to go aggressive that it can even do this. It can give you a potential. It can give you a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5x return. It can. It's a good trade if it does happen, right? Good trade, right? So this can happen according to KC. Even if it goes to 3 times, nothing wrong. Take profit 3 times. You don't have to always go to the extreme. You don't have to always use whole number. Remember I said never use whole numbers, right? Let's say you aim for 1.8 over here. You take profit and run away. It's fine. Take and run. Right? Take and run. Take your trades and go. Run. Go away. Make your money, run. All right? So it collects. So you got greedy. It comes here, it collects here. What's the worst case here now? Because you entered on that point. What's the worst case? $0 only. Right? It collects and it comes very fast. So if you see a situation like this and it collects very fast, do you chase or do you not chase? If you don't chase it, it's fine. Right? But if I see such a big band, this bar is so big, right? And I see the rest of the bar like this, right? I will not chase the trade. Even though my method reversal can chase, if you're not fast and agile enough to take this trade, right, you will screw up. But if you somehow manage to chase when the thing collapses to your price, let's say it collapses to your price here, or the entry price here, because you know something is wrong already, right? Either here or here, you can collapse, right? You can do a reversal trade where your stop loss can be at this line here or next bar, either or, which means that if it's above this line, something's wrong, right? If the band is too wide, then you move your stop loss to here, which means that your stop loss will be here now, and somehow the market is still moving up and down, and you manage to short and this is your stop loss, then your R ratio starts from here. Once again, did the market go a 1R return? It did, right? So what do you need to do? Stop loss to entry. Can you see that? Is this a risk-free? Yes. Even if you take the bigger bar as a 1R ratio at the point of the moving average here, right? This is your R ratio now. Right? And you clone down. Question is this a valid trade still to take profit? It is. You can collect partial if you want to. I don't care. You choose. I'm not going to dictate you. If you think you want to do take partial, go ahead. You can. After all, it's only one times return. So yes, you can if you want to. Is it wrong? No. Do you follow rules? Yes. Do you use R ratio at least minimum? Yes. As long as you keep your ratio, winning ratio, above 1, right? For us, minimum 1.6. But as long as you go above 1, and the stop loss to entry at 1R ratio, you will never lose money in the long run. Even if your win rate is 40%, 60%, but you maintain a 1.6, you will never lose money in the long run. Because why? Law of probability and maths kicks in. It's the same principle as casino. You will never go broke in trading. I don't want to complicate matters to do with Martingale because I'll see how. If we have enough time, I'll teach you a little bit of Martingale. Right? Maybe I'll teach tonight Martingale instead. Then I will not teach you the risk management. All right, so I'll show you Martingale for you. Okay, any question about this KC? So if you see an extreme band like this here, the yellow point here, you short here, it's fine. You can get an extreme kill. Then you try to buy here, right? It goes up, right? Makes sense, right? Then it goes down again, something's wrong. You short low, then your stop loss is here. You just short and short and short and short all the way down. Get it? This is the enhanced KC for this intake. Our latest research has shown that this is the improvement, and it's actually killing market right now for this method. Questions? Anything you ask? So let's look at what's happening in market now. So let's go to current market. Right? So do we do anything right now when the market is doing this? Do we do anything? Now the market is dropping. Do we do anything now? What do we do? If you're using KC only, what do you do when this is happening? In your 50 minutes, what do you do? What will you do? Come on, you're trading. What will you do when this happens? Someone say short. What else? Okay, let's say Sean say short. Where's the stop loss? Okay, nothing wrong. Sean says short, stop loss here. It's fine. It's fine. If he's short here, it's fine. Why? He expects the market to touch the yellow line. Nothing wrong. If he shorts and he do a stop loss here, if he shorts now, right, and stop loss is here, it's okay. You can don't do anything and wait for the band to touch. Also can. For example, if this market was suddenly flush here or here, and you buy along or buy along here, nothing wrong. It's very versatile, this method, which is why I like it also. So if you choose to buy here, you choose to buy, let's say you choose to buy here. Okay, we move this way. If the market suddenly flush down here, touches here, personally, I'll wait for the next bar. I won't enter a touch. Usually I'll do this. Market touch the line, right? And the next bar open up, top or breaks through. Then I'll look for a long. I'll look for a pattern like this. Or something like hammer, breakout. Like this. I'll look for a pattern like this. This is what I prefer to use. So if you're using a short and the market is dropping now, right? It's dropping. Here. You can take a target here, right? You can start to plan to take the entry along here or here. You can use stop loss here, or if you're entering here, you can use stop loss here. Or you can even use the previous one here as a stop loss, a rough area of stop loss. As long as your risk reward makes sense, I don't care. You want to use the stop loss, right? and you follow this plan, I don't care. You'll make money. So if it happens, if you enter here, then and you're using stop loss, then simple rules apply. If it hits here, entry. If it hits any of this point, take profit. If the yellow line happens to come around here, let's say go around here, right? Let's say it comes around here like this, take profit here. You don't have to find the top, just take profit here, it's done. You get, if you enter short along here, this is a 3x return or 2.8x return. You make money. Get it? And if it happens to touch here, goes here, right? If the line happens to be touched here, let's say it's going this trajectory. It comes here, touch here, you buy, it reverses here, suddenly it collapses. What do you do next? You short the damn thing. Then this will be your stop loss area, right? Because the lines will probably do this. The lines will extend here like this, right? Then this line will start to come around here. Maybe not so drastic, but something like this will likely happen, right? Then if this happens here, it goes up, you short here, or you short here, up to you, because you stop loss, you go long, right? Stop loss, right? Comes back down here, you short it, your stop loss is here, and it can collapse, it can come here, all the way down, and catch a long momentum breakdown. Right? What I'm seeing here is congestivity. So this is still uptrend, congestivity, but it's a little bit weak. What am I biased? If I look at this pound US, when I see here, right, this is actually a bull call already. It's actually a long for pound on a 50-minute chart. So I'll look at more buying opportunities now, rather than shorting. So if this thing touches here, I'll be very happy. Just buy. Stop loss is here. Done. Done. Okay. You guys need a break really. Who needs a break? Apart from Alexander. I thought I was running through the whole thing tonight until 10:30. 10 o'clock, 10:30. We might end at 10:30 tonight because I want to teach you a few more things. If not, tomorrow you guys will die. Tomorrow's class is very tough. Not easy also. How about rest? Anyone needs a break? Yes, 1 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, how about this? I'm going to give you guys a break right now. We'll take okay. I'll tell you, this is one break only. Then tomorrow we burn through. So I'm going to give you guys a bit longer break today. We're going to do a 12-minute break. So please come back at 9:10. That's my pause recording. Okay, we're going to come back at 9:10. Right. Okay. We're back again. As I was mentioning earlier, I was looking at the potential silver long right now. The KC structure looks like it's good enough for long. Optimus shows it's about long as well. Is it more for gold, but they're correlated, right? So let's see. Gold and silver is up today. There's a potential cycle for long. Cryptos, what's crypto doing now? I don't know. See what's crypto doing. Ooh, cryptos are red. What's going on? Why is it still at a 20 something thousand? Remember, crypto reminder, crypto's major level is 18,000. Anything above 18,000, we are still maintain long. But if 18,000 breaks because of the moon level, it's time to go short. All right, so be very careful with this thing. Crypto showing signs that it wants to sell actually. But okay, can KC work on BTC? Actually, yes. Look at this KC now. Interesting, right? With this KC method, that it actually applies to crypto as well. You see that? Any questions on this thing? Right, have you found the request, the access ready to request? Yeah, never mind. He just texted me privately. Okay, got it ready. Yeah. So just click, but like I say, that Google is blocking me out now. They think I'm a spam bot or something. because they don't want us to use this as like their hosting for webinars. We are building a membership site. I think it's called Itatashi or something. Some weird membership site name. They are hosting for me. I'm just building the thing now, so you guys can access later on. Right. So for Bitcoin, right, as back to class, Bitcoin. What I'm seeing here right now is a potential use of KC. If you look at the daily chart, right, and look at the KC marking, right, it actually tells you quite a fair bit of indication. A bit and something more advanced. I want to show you something more advanced now. For gold, right? Remember the same thing again. I didn't change. We are in a transition day today. So today is a Friday. Monday, right? We will see a potential transition. It looks like a good time to buy, but I'll watch. Right? Anyway, the good thing is that, right, throughout the whole program, you can see the whole cycle, right, up to what happens here. So I'm looking at a potential. I'm bullish, but I'll wait for the next bar Monday. Then I'll decide. Right? But I already mentioned that look for a buying opportunity. I think I made an announcement on public channel somewhere around. I mentioned a public channel somewhere around where? Somewhere around here, I think. I said look for buying opportunity somewhere around this period here. It's on the public channel. Right? I already mentioned, say there's a potential chance to buy soon around here. Right. So now it's at that level. I'll wait for this bar to decide long or short. The next 1 or 2 bars, I'll monitor the next 1 or 2 bars. Right. I mentioned before that. I remember I know I tell the public. Right. So it's around here that we could see a potential change direction. I am biased long, but I could be wrong. So I'll wait for the next 2 bars to decide. This is for gold, right? You can see the trend line cycles here. And okay, I should have hands and legs again. Hands, legs, right? The 2 bars here. Okay, this is a higher hand, right? So if these 2 points are the hands and legs, right? Look at this. Oh, it's very small, the cycle. Very small. But okay, let me zoom in first. I should have the sub-cycle. Where is it? Where's the okay, this one. You got it. That second. Okay, if we're using these 2 points as dimension, then there'll be a substitution trade. Wow, so tight. What the hell do I see this thing? So tight. Cycles. Yes, it's an alignment. Can you see that? How I know this alignment is because this line here and these 2 is side by side. So confirmation there's an op in the dimension, but these 2 dates, right? I'll use the M4 for this. So for gold, I'll use M4. What I'll do for gold trade is that I'll make an announcement on probably Tuesday. I'll just say for gold, there's opportunity of a BMM cycle. We'll use Fridays, Monday, and Tuesdays, high and low, to look for a breakout trade on gold. This is what I'm probably going to say on Tuesday next week. I don't have a BMM breakout, but I know that when I run the dimension sequence, I really can tell that it's these 2 periods. Because there's an op cycle right now that lands early, and it's around Monday to, it's a Monday to a Friday thing. So it will op between these 2 points. There's an op cycle there on the harmonics that trades right now. If I look at the historical data, right, of this, the historical data is actually damn accurate. This is a very tight op, which I don't like. I'll use a bigger op later. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I use the op and multiply forward. How much is that? 1, 2 op cycle, 1, 2 op cycle, square dimension, 2 points, 1 point here. Dimension op cycle is here. This one. Okay. So if I use a what we call power 2 sequencing, where we use the harmonics power 2, and I'll do
see, angles is 1x, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's a dimension of angles. Okay, here is the dimension. She's sub-angles here. And sub-angles, okay, dimension, angles and sub-angles here, here. Okay, so I'll pay very close attention to okay, this off already. Adjustment. No surprises. Anything anywhere below 1815 is not a good signal, it's a sell signal. Anywhere above 1840 is a hyperbull, right? So I just want to note that the price now is at, what's the price now? I can see the price now. What's the price now? Price now is at 1836. Anywhere above 1840 onwards, right? If the bull trend, hyperbull will be at the 1852, but it might hyperbull all the way back then. So there's a very sensitive price point at 1840 for gold. So please take note of the 1840 is a very sensitive price point. If it goes above it, chances are it's a bull. I won't say hyperbull because I saw a wrong dimension. Hyperbull is 1852, right? Anywhere above 1852 is hyperbull range. So 1840, right? I will become bullish in gold, and I'm really bullish already right now, semi-bullish. If you compare this to the KC method, right, on gold, now let's go to the KC chart, right? You go to gold, gold, this is gold, yeah, gold, right? Let's go to gold. Sorry, gold chart. Gold is here. Gold. Yeah, how come the price is different? My price is different from my Optima. You see, FX. Wait. Oh, there's actually a mini breakout now. That's a gold signal. That's a long signal already. Why is my price different? Okay, I'm not sure why my price is not updating on Optima. But this is dimension test, right? It shows that 1840 this is actually a long signal. The 1840 is a long signal. Pretty sure. Right? Check the low is 18. Or is it mirror? Yep. There's a long signal already. I'm actually bullish on gold. Right. Please, if possible, look for buy around the next 2-3 days. Next week. Don't buy now. But next week, look for buy opportunity. Go. Very, very high chance of a good trade. Right? And I'm bullish next week. So FYI. Right? The risk factor for this, if you want to use this to trade on the gold, right? What we need to use for this risk management is that if this is a risk and now it's a breakout on long for gold, your stop loss will be around, you can choose to use 1822, or if you want to use a KC today, you can use 1804, right? This is where my stop loss will be, probably around here, if I want to take a trade next week. So if I see there's a long trade breakout next week, and it happens to go back and retest, I'll go along. So I'm giving you my biasness now. I'm hoping that it does this shape. It does this the leg shape. So what happens? What I'm hoping for is that, right, they'll do a 3 test to synchronize the dimension here, right? And this will be a leg down like this and like that. Maybe a Tuesday. Then this we can use the 3 bars Monday or Tuesday here as a long trigger. But I'm letting you know that I'm seeing this pattern forming right now. I want this to touch a second time, so that when the big boys use their hands and their legs again, they will use this angle, right, as the gauge point of the markets. If I'm not wrong, right, they've already chosen the one on my screen here as the angle already. This one. This is the angle already that they've chosen. This angle here. There's a clone point
on how many degree lines is this? It's about 43 degrees plus minus. This is about 43 degrees. Right, and we expect a 43 degrees movement cycle. So let's look at 43 degrees here on the training view. Right, there's a measurement tool here they can use if you know how to use a measurement cycle. Is this the one? Yeah. Oh, this is the distance length percentage. Not this one. This might measure angle cycle. Oh, this is not. I know why. This is that's why. Wrong program. This one. Okay. There is a measurement degree here that I'm looking at right now. Yeah. If this is with respect the line, the dimension is about 43 degrees, 44 degrees. So I expect this to happen soon. Because if you look at this 44 degrees here, and look at my optima, right? Can you see that this dimension is multiplying on this level? 44.1 plus minus. And here, gold is reacting on the 44 degrees angle point. So Monday or Tuesday, if the market were to do this shit like this, right, there could be a chance to buy in around here. But like I say, watch the thing first. Or if it breaks out on Monday, then wait for a point where it touches 44 and buy along. This is what I'm telling you. There's a confirmation signal along for gold, but it's a weak confirmation. Right? It's a confirmation already. It's just that we have to wait for retest now. Any questions? I'm giving you guys the same trade, but I'm enhancing it with the dimension this round, with the degree angle some more. Any question? You can, but where's the stop loss? What rules you want to use? You can, but what's the stop loss? Which rule you want to use? Do you want to use below the dimension point? You can buy now if you want to, but to me it's a bit high, so I want to go in yet, right? And the planetary have not crossed the cycle yet, because if you let's say you go and buy now, your stop loss will be here, this orange point, right, somewhere around here, because I have not scaled the thing down properly. So when I need to use the scaling, because what I should, but I'm showing the degree angle now, right? Because you see when I move this thing, it moves already, right? But I know that degree is 44 degrees, right? So I'm watching for this thing. That's why I said Optima more accurate. Optima will give you the exact point, right? Which I'll give you the price now. If it follows the projection, is around, the retest is around, let me look at the dimensions. 18, around 1829. Sorry, this is not right one. 1829. I have not zeroed this thing yet. See if I can use the zero factor here. I have the scale factor, very irritating. How do I change the scale of this? Okay, so actually I can't do the scaling here. I can't adjust the scaling, but because of this scale issue, this is not accurate, right? But I already mentioned 44 degrees is the angle of attack. How much scaling is this where we need to adjust? I can't advise you now because I only can use that on Optima. So if you're looking at this area now, we are looking at about stop loss. Okay, I'm gonna go back KC again for this. If you want to use this entry, your stop loss should be around 1812. If you're using KC alone, you can, right around here. I wouldn't recommend you to go in yet, not yet. I'll wait for a chance. I'll want it to go and do this expansion, but I know the degree of angle for this rise is about 44 degrees for gold. It's about 44 degrees. Right? I'll have to run more tests, but this is my quick biasness. Right? So we'll see a breakout here. And so we have the planetaries. You see, right? 44 degrees, I'm waiting here. We are waiting for the cycle to change. We're waiting for cycles to change around here. I need this to confirm. Right now, I think we just cross over. We are at the bar here right now, and we break on long. They follow the same. They follow the same. Gold and silver very, very correlated. They're correlated. That's why I'm still holding my silver. Right? I don't know why my chart's not updated today. My Optimal chart's not updated. So this one will be it already broke already. The line, you can see this line here. So there's this line here of the dimension that trade. The price is already above the line. I just need to close above. I need to close above the line here today. It's right now it's 1846 already. It's here right now. I just need it to close above this line. Tonight, close above this line, I'm very confident already. Tonight, close above this line, very confident. I'll probably also success for this trade on a long for gold is about 80%. About 80%. That's my quick analysis. Okay, let's go back class. Okay, so continue on the KC. KC, any more questions on KC? Anything you want to ask about KC that you're not sure? Anything you want to clarify or ask? Not sure about? Are you so-called masters of KCs already or kind of master already? What about the rest? Not about the rest. Okay, great practice it. Okay, for KC on TradingView, right? No. I already gave you the new enhanced KC. What's the new enhanced KC? Are you not listening? What's the new enhanced KC? What's the new enhanced KC? Mac, right? ML is Mac, right? What's the new enhanced KC? No, not only about that. The reversal cycle of the cycle of the KC, it breaks, you go the other way, yeah, not listening. Quick one, very quick one. Very quick one. Okay. Quick one. If you enter a trade, right? A drop and drop and drop. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's say here. This is a good case study. Right. You KC, you touch this red line or yellow line, you go along, right? Depends. Right. You go along here, right? Here or here, you go along, right? Your stop loss will be here, right? Usually around here, right? Usually in most cases. It goes up a little bit, it crashed down, it hit your stop loss. What do? You can stop, you can short. Again, you can short. If you short again, and this is in the T phase, your stop loss will be at the point where you short on the next bar. So if you can stop out here, this moving average 13 will be your new stop loss. You can also use the next bar's version, which is here. I leave it to you which one you want to choose. Right? You can use the current or next bar. You want more creative? The average of these 2 points, the current next bar. I won't stop you. Right? I'm not there to stop you. You want to be creative, you can say, oh, I'll take the average of the stop loss between the current next bar. Fine. I mean, if you want to do the extra calculation, fine. This, okay, let's say we take the average of the 2 point now, right? Will be your R ratio. You just multiply down. You have a trending down on KC that has gone against you. Your 1R factor, 1 down, stop loss entry. You want to take profit at the 1.6 up to you or 2, I don't care. Take and run the money. Because usually for this near term, when a momentum flush, chances are that might be reversal because you already had this area of flush already. But this is what we call a momentum trend reversal, flush, and it goes down. So this negates the CT problem now, where KC can only work with C and E. It negates the problem already. Now it works on all 3 factors, C, E, and T. Because of this reversal cycle on KC using moving average as stop loss area. That is the new enhanced method for this batch. right? Have fun trying KC. You will see that you can take a lot of trades. That makes sense, right? Right. The KC, right? If you lose, okay, I've not mentioned this much because I was focusing on the new method. You can also trade the KC on the sideways market like this, right? Right. Buy, take profit here or take profit here, short, right? Take profit here or take profit here, buy, take profit here, come here, wait, okay, goes up, down, okay, here, not so much, then you can take profit up to you or entry. So it depends on you as a trader, right? Sometimes you can get a lot of good trades. You can do a 3 minutes and do a ping pong. You can trade on ping pong as well. What I like about this and why brokers love this because some people like to teach this is because they generate a lot of spreads for the broker. So broker love people to do this method, right? So you can do a ping pong. You can short here, then you can take profit here. You can wait for try to wait for buy. You can see the KC line here. If you try to do reversal, right, the reversal is not very clean, right? You say, let's say you buy, you short here, you saw a reversal. Okay, let's say you buy here, you cut loss here. The market is here. You try to do a reversal short, stop loss here. Well, you lost the trade, right? But then you can try again. Let's say come back here, try to buy again. Then it goes up, take profit, short again, goes down. You want to do what? You want to take profit, up to you. You want to buy, you try, or you can just wait for here to buy. Go back, touch here, never break, buy out. You wait for the retest. So you can see there's a lot of points of entry, right? Using this method. If market clusters, then you should just watch the overall trend, right? So if some nights you get very extreme highs and lows, like okay, let's say like this one, very good extremities, extreme shorts, right? Extreme longs. These are the perfect KC methods. I love this method a lot, right? This is where you get very good long trades or swing trades. No. KC is for quick one. We found a countermeasure for KC now, but I prefer KB as overall trend. The KB king is still king for a reason. We have not dethroned the king yet. It's still king. It's still working. It's working to the point that we're running algo already, right? So that method is still there. It's just that you guys will be given an option to choose what you like to suit your character. I just wanted to fill the gap where KC is not good for T phase, but we found the answer. The answer is a reversal trade using the moving average as a stop loss. That's your reversal T method on KC now. That's the countermeasure that we developed this batch. Right? So by the way, Mike is a student from the previous batch. He was using this method. He tried using the other method. And some of you guys are from previous batch also. Right? So I'm telling you that we finally solved the problem already. We solved the problem once and for all already. How to enhance the KC. I can teach you the ATR method as well, the coming or trend method. That one I think tomorrow I'll teach you guys that the indicator method, right? To detect and tune the KC a bit more. Right. So that's tomorrow's class. Okay. So today's class, I'm going to introduce this concept called Martingale. If you don't get it, it's okay. Right? If you get it, good. We do not recommend Martingale for beginners because a lot of people died using it. Martingale is a strategy that people use in casino to try to beat the house. It's like counting cards, which is technically somewhat illegal. If you ever go to the casino table before, have you noticed that in the casino table, right, there's something called maximum bet. Have you seen this thing before? Those of you who go to the casino, have you seen this before? They have what we call a minimum opening, and maximum bet. Why do you think they had to enforce that on the table? Why do you think the casino had to do that? It's because it's to counter the Martingale strategy, but they are the losing end. But it's a counter Martingale. Because people will actually use Martingale in the casino table as well. Why? So let's do the maths now. What is Martingale? What is Martingale? Right. So Martingale. Right? It's an actual strategy that you can read online. So I'm just going to find some random page. It's on Investopedia. And I'm going to paste it here. Have fun reading it tonight. It explains the mathematical systems, right? And yes, people actually use this for Forex too, right? So it's not a wrong method. It's just you have to be very careful when you do this. And yeah. But there's a way to calculate increase and manage the risk. Not the word manage the risk, because it's very easy to calculate, right? So that's why I say it's not meant for the new traders. I don't recommend this, but if you're very versatile with the markets, this can be your winning pot to go. Because in one of the 4 strategies that we use, Martingale's idea is actually deployed into it. And you'll see the distance, the difference between how much money you earn on the same trade. I'll explain that tomorrow. All right. But I want your mind to understand this thing first. Right. Now, your mind needs to comprehend this idea. Let me just clear this first. Right. What do you need your mind need to do? I'm going to ask you this question now. Imagine you have a box, right? A box, right? And this box is cut in half. So let's say the box, right? This box here is not a perfect box, it's a box. Over here writes 100%. Right? Over here writes, okay, I won't say 100%. I just say 100. Here is 50. Here is 0. Right? So, if somehow, maybe this is my example. Let me just change the number, because no one gets $0. We have to visualize the $0. Okay, let's say this is 200. This is 150. This is 100. In a perfect trading world, right? Perfect, almost perfect trading world. Somehow, miraculously, you bought something at a high. Let's say you bought it $1 here, right? Let's do another one here, right? And the market drops here, and now it's $1 to 1 ratio. How much money will you lose here now? You didn't cut loss, but how much is the value of money now? How much will you have lost? It's minus what? Minus what? You bought at 200, right? At $1, it goes down by 50. How much have you lost? 50, right? Minus 50. Great. Now, if it goes down to here at minus 100, it means that you lose $100, right? $100, right? Agree? Right, you lose $100, correct? So, if somehow you got a lot of money, and it's like, you know what? I have $100 lost here. I'm going to buy another $1 again. $1 here. So I buy $1 over here. Let's say I buy here. And I buy here. At what point would I break even? Will I break even at a $200 or will I break even at $150? Which one? Because I buy one at 200 and buy one at 100. So will everybody agree that my break even, instead of hoping the market to go back to 200, right? Because I have enough money, I plan my trades. I can rescue my position at 150 because this position will be minus $50 and this position here will be plus 50, right? Agree? We call this market rescue, or some people say dollar cost averaging, correct? Right? The Martingale strategy that is used by casinos, people will not buy at $1. Do you know what they'll do? $1 here, right? $2 here. Now, will my break even be at 150 or will my break even be around somewhere around 125? Which one now? No, not 125, higher. Okay, this is where my math sucks. Around 35 up, 35 up, 35 up, 70 down, 35 up, 70 down, 35. So it'll be 134. Because I entered $2, 34. Okay, let's say 35 times 5 times 2, right, is around 135. 135 down by $1 is 65. Actually, it's not even 35, it's way lower. Let's say 33. $34. $68 against $68 against $66, right? 134 is my break-even point. Because why? Instead of 150 now, I will break even when it goes up by 34 points. And who's to say that this must be $2? Why can't you just use $1 and here $3? Or what I like to do is called scouting. So what I like to do when I trade is that if I happen to have a lot size of $10, I can play $10. Do you know what I do? I'm not sure what the market is going to do, right? If I enter the first trade, it's emotion, right? Or somewhat emotion, right? Instead of taking $10, I'll just throw. What I'll do personally is I'll throw 50 cents out, or $1, or $1. I still got enough ammunition. If the market keep dropping down, and my this $1 become, let's say, minus $50. In other words, I got $9 worth of reserve that has lower stop loss that I can enter at a better price at $9. And my stop loss will reduce. My gains will have an additional 50 points extra. So the Martingale strategy looks into this doubling effect. And if you look at a card game, right? Let's play a card game.
I think handphone.
Where I will always Martingale whenever I lose.
I think handphone.
Let's say this card game is against me, right? So imagine this. I'm in a situation where I will lose 6 times and win 4 times. But I control the amount I bet.
They have either. Nice.
I read the game. I'm in a casino. Let's say I'm in the casino. And I know that no matter what I play 100 times, or let's say I play 10 times. 10 times, right? They designed a game where I will lose 6 times and win 4 times. If you're emotional, you're focused on the emotional win. That's why we can use emotion when it comes to this.
Right? Yeah.
So 10 times, 6 times, if I keep playing at $1, right? $1. I play only at $1. What do you think my net result is? 6 and lose and $4 and $1. What do you think my net result is? I got $10 and I lose 6 times, I win 4 times. What do you think my net result is?
Because
come on, simple maths. All is $1. I got $10 in total. How much? What do you think my end of the day result will be? Will I be richer than, or will I be richer or more than $10 or less than $10? Are you guys there?
Wow,
That's right. Less by how much? $2 lah. Right. Good. Now let's say we play a game. No matter what happens, I will lose 6 times, right? And I'll win 4 times. No matter what happens. So let's say the first round I play with you in the house, and because it's $1, $1, right? And they must go against me. If I put $2, you better play $2. If I play $3, you play $3, right? There is a background. I don't hear anything, but I'll just mute everybody again. Okay. So 10 rounds of gameplay, 10 rounds. Let's say first 3 rounds, I lose. Then I have 2 wins. Then I lose 1 time. I win. 5, 6, 7. I lose 2 times again. And I win again. Right? So total time, I have 6 losses and 4 wins. So let's play again now. $1. $1. I lost first round. Round number one. Okay, I think I type this on my camera better. Easier to visualize. Okay. Oh, I have written. Okay. So, what did we see just now? 3 loss, two wins, 1 loss, 1 win, 2 loss, 1 win. Okay. Right? This is the overall. Agree? So let's zoom in. Okay. Round one. 1, 1. Equals I negative $1. Right? So you're the casino. So me minus 1. Casino plus 1. Agree? Then round 2. 2. Me minus 3 because I lost $2 already, right? Casino plus 3. Agree? Now round 3. Me minus 7. Casino plus 7. Think about this now. If you have lost 3 times in a row, how do you feel emotionally if you got no plan? How do you feel emotionally? How do you feel? You go and play a game, you lost 3 times in a row, even though it's no. Yes. So your emotions, your fucking emotions taking over you. As a good trader, we don't give a fuck. Really. Lose. Why? Because we have game plan. Now, round 4. The same thing has happened. Right? $8. $8. Agree? But this time round, I won. Right? Lose. Win. What thing happened now? $8 beforehand, 7, $8 again, $8. Now me, I am positive $1. Casino, or wherever it is you're playing, minus $1. Do you understand why they have a maximum bet in place now? Because they will prevent you from that. So you can see that this is the flip side. The question is, how do you feel now? You feel like, oh, good, I can take a run away, right? Some people are like, just let me run away. Good. Now let's continue playing the game. So after that, I win already, right? Then I play again. Round 5. Right? Round 5, $1, I win. Now me plus $2, casino minus $2. Right? You feel good, right? Win twice already, right? How do you feel? How do you feel now? You start to feel like, hey, not bad, I'm winning. Right? Sorry, it's 1 win, 2 win, correct, 2 wins. Right? Then what do you think happened next? So next round, I try again. Round 6. $1. We keep it constant, right? I lost. So round 6, it's a loss. Right? Me plus $1, casino minus $1. Correct? Round 7, we'll play 2, and I win. Now look what happened here. Me plus $3 now. Casino minus $3. Right, 7. Then after that, what happened? After that, round 8, $1, $1 again, lose. Me plus $2, casino minus $2. Round 9, $2, $2, lose again. So let me ask you this question right now. $2 are lose, right? And now I'm at $0. Casino at $0. How do you feel so far right now? How do you feel? And around 9, how do you feel? How do you feel? You play and this thing, at the end of the day, nothing happens. You never get any money, you never lose anything. Tired, all this thing, okay? Do you feel like you waste time? Feel like waste time. Have you ever trade before and like, what the hell? I trade the whole night, I only make $1, $10 because I lost a few trades. Right? It takes a few trades to wipe you out. Because a few trades to wipe you out it's also a martingale effect. So now, if I were to follow the martingale through and I'll play the same thing round 10, I won't be playing $1, I'll be playing $4. $4. And I win. What do you think happens now at the end of the night? 4. -4. 10 rounds, the game's rigged against me, but yet with martingale, I make money. Why 4G is crap? I don't understand. I'm talking about simple martingale here. Right? The same I can apply, if you take things principles that what I just shared with you just now, you apply it to your bands. That's a KC band. The KC band rule doesn't say that you must follow the ratio all the time. The KC, you can be creative about KC, you know that. Let's say, I'll give you an example now. Let's say, let's give you an example. Okay. Don't have good examples. Not very clean examples. Better 3 minutes. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. Right. So let's say this case now, where you have a situation. Okay, I'm looking for an oversold situation. Okay. Those who are new, don't use this, right? Because you need a very strong risk management to do this. Okay. Here's a good example. Let's say you bought at a yellow line here, $1, right? You plan your stop loss to be here. You have enough money to go at $3 here, but you want to wait. $1 you buy here. You can wait for the market to drop all the way here, touch this level here, and you know what you can do? You can go at $2 here. You're still, because overall you didn't break a rule. You calculated saying that at the distance here to here and here to here, I can afford to even use $5 because of the distance here. I save the money, but I can use $3 in total. You have $1 here, you have $2 here. The magical effect of this is that, or this martingale on even in KC is that, right? You reduce your stop loss by so much. Can you see that? You save your stop loss by this amount extra heartaches. You plan to really play $3. But because of that, you can actually go on a bigger lot if you want to and still keep the risk the same. And if this method works and you use a $1 and $2 and even $4, some people do that, or $3, you can see that not only will your stop loss be reduced, but when you gain, you also gain the extra space of area here. That is why martingale is extremely deadly, but it's a double-edged method. Because if you are weak in your stop loss, and if you plan to only lose money here, you $1 here and $2 here, the collapse is twice as fast or almost twice as fast when you don't cut loss. It will queue up your account very fast. We do not recommend people to do martingale at the start if you are completely new, but you're quite a seasoned trader. Martingale is actually one of the deadliest methods that you can turn the odds against the markets. Because if you look at it from a grand scheme of picture, right? You look at it from a very, very long phase. Let's say you look at it from this point here. Do you notice something on the markets? Markets always go from a high to a low, to a high, to a low. Do you notice that? Do you notice that? Low here, right? High here, low here, right? You notice something fishy about markets. There's always high and low, right? So it means that, right, if you draw a line here, at some point, the market will always go and eat back your original position. In most cases, unless it's a mega crash or something. So let's say if you buy here at one, so let's say this is the average point, right? The average here, right? Okay, I use an empty chart for you, right? If you buy here at this point, okay, this is the average line. If somehow miraculously you bought here at $1, right? I don't know what some let's just say POC profile. Okay, let's check that. Then you buy here again. Then you buy here. $1, $2, $4. Or you can even do $1, $1. The number here is up for you to detect. You want to do $1, $1, $1. You want to do 1, 2, 4. At some point in the future, if you know that this trend, let's say the market screw up one time, drop further down here before it go back up. You know at some point, there will be a point of break even in the near future. In most cases, especially a sideways markets, this is deadly as hell. But you need to have very strong risk management when you do this thing. Very, very strong risk management. If you were to overtrade on a tiny account, you die. Because sometimes some people will trade bigger lot here. By the time the market comes to here, they got no more ammunition. By the time the market comes to here, the account blown up. Then after the market reverse up, then you realize that you just got cheated. This is martingale strategies that can be deployed on multi-layers. And unlike the casino where there's something called maximum bet, in the stock market, there's no maximum bet. There's no such thing as maximum. Even the maximum bet on a broker is like $400 per position. 400. Because they need to find liquid for you. And some people do this thing on millions of dollars. Does this make sense as to why some people use layering? And if you come to dimension trading, you understand that the whole entire thing is just dimension. The stuff you see on Optima, right, is just that dimension layering. We don't care if the price up or down. But as long as you know where the midpoint is, you'll notice that markets will always go from high to low to high to low in whatever sense of time. And if you were to design a bot system, why I'm talking to those guys? Because they use a little bit of this, but they use something like KC. So they'll wait for a certain band before their bots kick in and they start to take a position. That's what they do. And with that method itself, right, it's actually a damn deadly method if it's done right. If you mismanage it, it sucks. You'll blow up the account. Understand now why this method is so deadly and why is it so powerful? But we don't recommend this for new traders. If you're new, you can try, but make sure your stop loss is there. Yeah. You can break out martingale KB as well. The people who does it. On the KB level, right, they enter multiple KB levels. They wait for the KB drop. Right. So okay, I'm not going to talk much of KB today, but KB also takes account like layers, right? Layer, right? If the KB were to trigger long, enter $1 first. If the thing come down, but still go back up long, enter, let's say $2 or $1, right? And sometimes it just breaks all the way up. Then you release a stop loss. Your stop loss will be reduced, but your gains increase. It works for that as well. You can mix and match when you kill. Any questions? There's 10 or 2, by the way. So anyway, I just plan to end around here because tomorrow then I'll fire brace technicals again. But any questions so far? Why is it so deadly? But it kills you. It's mismanaged. Any questions? I'm serious. I know. I'm surprised nobody asked you questions on this. All right. So no, KB is not covered tomorrow. Next week, strictly next week. So anyway, I need to show you guys how to do lock-in and so on. Have you guys? You can pre-plan MACD, yes, you can. Especially in dimension trading, you can pre-plan. Or KC, you can pre-plan. Anyway, any questions or any issues logging in? Because I want to show you guys something about the whole. Okay, first of all, I need to apologize that what's happening on my site is that I can't approve anyone. I already marked those who have not approved yet, right? Like this one here. You see what happens is that when I try to approve, I get this stupid error. I hope we can go through. Oh, you can go through it. Good. Sorry, I cleared the person. Right. So what happens is that now I can start approving people again. So now I get this error code. Okay, I can start approving some of you guys already. SS. So I got an SS request here. I'll try to approve as many as I can before the Google bot's kicking again to say I'm spamming. Right. So I get an error code sometimes. Right. So those of you who have not approved yet, let me just bear me a while. I will try to approve you ASAP. So now, regards to trading, right? I need to teach you guys to do a quick trading before we end tonight's call. Okay, looks like my declaration that Kwang's entered is dying. Okay. Anyway, quick one. So, do all of you have your CMC SS or Trade Nation SS? I want to show you the difference between the Trade Nation and the CMC. This is very important because CMC is using what we call unique calculation. So the planning of CMC is much harder compared to Trade Nation. Trade Nation is very noob friendly, but the problem is that CMC regulations and recourse is better. Right? I need to be very clear that CMC regulation and recourse is better. So in Trade Nation, right? Let's say 1:1. Let's say 1:1. So let's say 1 is right now. Okay, let's say put $1. When it goes up by 100 points, I say it goes up by $100. $100, $100. Right? Can you see that? $100, $100. Very straightforward. But if you go to CMC, let's say you take the same market, US 30. Right? And now you buy. Right? When you key the units in, you're keying based on units. Okay, the amount here is not a money amount. The amount is what we call the unit measurement from the stock market because they are direct LPs. So when they quote from the LPs and the liquid product LPs, they talk about unit size. So they ask you how much money you want to try to play a unit. So for CMC, you have to set your plans already. Let's say the price is now at 1,331,135. I would like to take profit at 33236, which is 100 points, and my stop loss will be at 33036, for example. I will use an estimate unit of, let's say, $10, right? They'll tell me that this is how much money I need to put. The amount that I'm risking, how much money I'm going to make, how much money I'm going to lose. It's still 100 points. But can you see that the amount unit here calculation is not $, because they are linked directly to the markets. And can you see that because of MAS law, the margin is $20,000, right? And they say that the potential cost, like your spread cost and stuff, is how much? Overnight fees, they tell you all things already, right? But here's the interesting point, the thing about CMC. For those of you who want to use CMC because of leveraging, in the Singapore law under MAS on this platform, when you go to stop loss and you set to guaranteed, suddenly your margin for $10 trade drops to only 1,500. Without that guarantee, right? Your minimum, and by the way, you can guarantee a small amount. There's no minimum like Trade Nation, right? You can see the guarantee now drops, the margin has dropped to 1,006. This is how you get a 500 average on CMC. And so Trade Nation, they tell you how much is the minimum margin, right? Can you see here? I say $10 here. They say that I need 1,600. Why? Because it's a 200 leverage. You can see that they will quote me a price already. How much? I need $100 over. If I want to, so technically this account is this 100,000. I can even pay $100 a pip, but that is stupid because is basically trying to blow up the account, and I'm not going to do that, right? That's why your margin and leverage, all that stuff, is very important to manage the trades. So CMC is better in a way where they limit you, but they give you opportunity to over leverage your account, and you can play the same thing. Let's say I buy now, place a buy order. Of course I want to play, right? I buy now. So they tell me that this is my profit stop loss. So now they tell me that this is my point is my entry, my stop loss is here. I can choose to adjust this. Say I want to adjust this, I can move about. Let's say I move my take profit to here. Let's say around here, right? How to set the take profit there? Okay. I haven't played this system enough yet, so I will set the system. What is that? System to take profit. Yeah, modify. Done. They ask me whether I modify or not. Now my stop loss and take profit is different. Let's say now I want to move, right? I move it here. Take same trade and move it here. I reduce my stop loss, but my profit I can move down. Let's say I got scared. I move here. Modify. You see that? Does this make sense now? And of course, the brokers will really deduct the operation as your available. Means that this is a margin. How much money you borrow to the broker. Operations is in place. And you can see the PML. So this is your on a CMC platform. So the trade nation is very straightforward, but the regulation recourse is not as good compared to CMC. Any questions? So another thing why I like CMC is because you have about 12,000 products to play. 12,000 products. Trade Nation, on the other hand, you don't have a lot of products, right? You probably have got about a few thousand, 2,000 products only. That's what I like about CMC in this case. So CMC is the actual markets, and option, of course, option trading, all this is coming to CMC soon, right? In 2-3 months time, you're launch trading from now. Similar, surprisingly very similar. The Trade Nation right now is 1 pip, right? Okay, can see this 1 pip right here. I go to here. Can see here, this shows 2, but I see the distance is only 1, right? Buy sell distance is, why is it 2 now? Okay. Did it increase? Oh yeah, I think they increased it by, how did they increase by $1? That's strange. It's supposed to be 1, unless they change the spreads. So right now they show as 2. Buy sell the distance means that you buy in the middle or buy the high. They charge you 1 sideway. CMC charges 1.3. CMC charge 1.3. So for Dow Jones is 1.3. Let's go here. If I'm not wrong, it's 1.3. Let me just check for you again. They have a show. Okay, they might just type here easier. Because I know what the key in really. Okay, here. Can go to the info list. There, 1.3. So now for Trade Nation, right? Can see here, it's 2. For CMC, it's 2.6. I remember it's 1.3. That's why it's just I always count as a buy sell. So it's 1.3. Buy sell distance 1.3. So it's only 30 cents. If you go to IG, it's 7 up and down. 7, 14 points on IG. That's why we don't use IG. You go eToro, also the same. Damn bloody high for 6. Understand now? But what's the advantage of this is that this one, if you use guarantee, you can trade 500 leverage. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. I remember correctly, it's 50% because they're following UK law. If I remember correctly, MAS follows UK. So when UK says something, MAS usually follow. And if not wrong, it's 50% margin. Usually 50%. Trade Nation, I think 20% because they're following the BA. They're from ASIC side, they're following BA. If I'm not wrong, they use 20. If I'm not wrong. Because I never traded on margin before. If you're trading on margin, you are gambling. I don't trade on margin. I never, ever trade on margin. That's why I never blown up a single account. Since the last 4 years, I never lost a single account ever since. Not even one. Right? Because I'm very strict with trading after that. But do you understand now? Margin is how much money you lend to the broker as a guarantee because you're leveraging for a product that costs a lot of money. Nobody carries $33,000 to buy one unit, right? So instead of using 33, if you are using a leverage of $1 to buy a unit for 33,000, you're using a division of 500. So if this product costs, let's say this product costs $33,000, would you take $33,000 to buy? Okay, let me back to day one class again, right? We cover this at the start. Would you have taken, right? Would you have taken $33,000, $1, and it goes to 330,100, sell? You make $100, right? Does this make sense financially? It doesn't, right? You buy something for $33,000, it goes $33,100 and sell $100. Does it make financial sense? Now does it make sense? It doesn't, right? So in CFD leveraging, let's say you use 200x. What you're effectively saying is that, right, as long as you have divide by 200, which is 330,17165. As long as you have 160, no, just double check my maths. Should be this one. Yeah. As long as $150, $160, right? Your $160 minimum can use to buy a product at 33,000. It goes to 33100. You still make $100. Now, using $100, $165, and you buy a product that is worth $33,000, and it goes up $100 in value and sell away, you still make $100. Does this make sense? There is a leverage system for you. Why we use leverage? Because I buy a contract. So, if you are playing on CMC on the same trade and you're using 500 leverage, your this $1 on the product is $33,000 is not divided by 200 already. It's divided by 500. This will be 500, which means that you can technically take the same trade and your margin or your account size has a minimum that amount of money, you're fine. So what's your minimum for this? So the max, as long as it's $6, you can buy the product and treat it as $33,000. And it goes up $100 in value, you will still make $100. Does this make sense? I'm not sure what the guarantee. I didn't check. Actually, good question, Mike. I haven't checked on that part yet. They haven't. I have not checked that part yet, unfortunately. The market is stuck actually. Good question. Like I said, I'm still very new on CMC. I'm very new on CMC. It's just that I have not even checked whether guarantee need to pay or not. Yeah, I'm checking now. Let me see if the code. Okay, let's say I sell. Oh, they cannot because I have the guarantee stop loss in place. They limit me. Ah, shit. So they got limiter there. They say if you use the guarantee, they will not let you take more. Oh, you can. Let's see. Yeah, have. Have is about $2 for $1. It's about 3 pips. 3 pips. Have, but they got no minimum on the guarantee. Not like Trade Nation. They got no minimum. Their guarantee has no minimum. From what I look at it, there's no minimum. Have 3 pips. They have a 3 pip spreads on the guarantee, but they allow you to do 500 leverage. Have, Mike, it's over there. See GSLO premium, $1, 1 unit, $2.71. Is there already? It's all written up for you already. You tell how much money you need to hold overnight, isn't it? All stated for you. Understand now? Fine? Any more questions? So please, if you're not sure again, I'll run through this with you tomorrow again in class, because I'll show you all the other indicators to use this. But any questions or anything else before we end for tonight and we come back for class tomorrow? Any other things you want to clarify me? Any other stuff? Tomorrow is a very technical day. I decided to shift some modules around. So I'm making tomorrow very technical. But it's basic technical tomorrow, very basic technical. Any question, anything to ask? Anything to ask? Anything? Right. So all of you have your access to CMC or Trade Nation or have fun playing. Try the demo first. All right. No matter what, if you're new to platform rating, always play demo. Like for example, right now this platform. Okay. My biasness is that right. Let me see what's happening. I'm following the BMM. So okay. Let me see what's happening now. I'm still shorting, still short. I'm following BMM law. But if you don't feel right about it, then you can let go along. Right? For me, I'm still biased. That's for me. Wait, let me double check. Hey, wait a minute. Did he hit stop loss? Wait. Did he hit stop loss? I haven't checked yet. Oh, hit already? Oh shit, means we're gonna go long. Okay. Because the BM2 was done, this signal wasn't a 40 signal. What is compression here? Okay, if this is the case, right? I'm going to my main chart now. Wait, okay, but I better go rescue mode now. I better call my trader already. One moment, please. Oh yes, shit, it hit the thing. So dimension is holding up. Oh, I didn't check that part. Okay. Technically speaking, yes, you can do an apology. I already mentioned that you need to cut when it goes up. 1, 2. In fact, this was the hint here. Okay. There's a high chance it's a long cycle. High chance. I think now I think there's going to be a reversal. And if gold is giving a signal to go on long, I think the markets are going to go on long again. Yeah, high chance is going to go on long, especially if it close above this line. Oh la la, it's going to go on long. Looks like my indicators are all the nearby indicators are telling me long signal already. All right, I'll wait for King Bar later, then I'll decide. I'll wait for King Bar later. Okay, let me just check. Okay, I better do some live analysis now. Okay, decided to do some live analysis. So I'm just going to stay. If you're going to go now, let me just do a quick check. It's trading view, right? No, this is not trading view. Okay, let's check now. No. They're seem to go up together now. I just realized that it has changed trading lately. Usually go up, index up. The sync has changed. I don't know why. In fact, US 30 and US 500, or the synchronization has changed as well. Right? The US 30 has been wonky like hell. So my cycles are a bit weird also when I calculate. So I use US 500 to calculate confirm the cycles. Okay, let's do a quick calculation now on cycles. Okay, let's do a quick one. Cycles correct. Cycles on 20th March. Okay, there's a hypercycle on 20th March. If you're using the bigger trend cycle, right? It's valid cycles. 1x bar. If you use the same bar, this would be the PMM bar size. PMM bar size. breakdown. So mass cycle. 1, 2, 1, 2 is correct. This is correct. It's an M1. M1. M1, 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 M1. M1. M1 cycle. Damn ugly. Circle not very clean. Saw complete with saw. Nah, not a clean cycle. 1, 2 down. Cool. Need an M2 for this, M3 for this. M3 is cleaner. Yeah. Okay. If you're using this theory, cycle theory, right? Technically speaking, on the 16 has been a short, right? You can see the cycle here, and it's continuing being pressed down. I personally think that if you're following BMM only, this is a long cycle, right? A retracement long. Then you have a simple retracement here. Like I mentioned before, you notice I always use the word if you're following something or something, because you're following the rules of the market. So if you assume that this is a long call, and it's a 1 to 0 factor, then the maximum we can go to is around here or here, right? So that will give you a cycle of around here to a BMM4. Oh, exactly a BMM4. Interesting. You know, the cycle is here. Yeah, it's about BMM4, right? So about BMM4 plus minus around there. Can you see if I use this tip here on apology, right here, 1, 2, right? Let's say you use here, use this here. Okay, let's say you do here, right? It's about 240. Oh, you know, I'm not showing screen. Oh, I'm showing the screen. Okay, it's about here, right? If it reverses, if it's following Fibonacci, we are looking at about maybe 242, right? I don't even think the long is a good breakout for the US 500. For gold, because I'm more long term, so gold is showing a potential up for gold right now, right? So like I say, it depends on which rule you're following. But if you use immediate law cycles, right? The current law cycle is the bigger one. The trajectory is still a bear, but you're talking a long-term bear, right? It can be a short-term bull to here or maximum here, right? Maximum. That's what it looks like it's going to happen from this cycle trade. So I think if you're looking at a longer projection here, down is possible. The governing line, I use this line here as a governing line on a Tuesday. These 2 points are governing line. So when I talk about governing line, I have this line here, up, down, right? So one of the things to key look out for is that tonight's closing price. If it chooses to close below here, right, there's a high chance it's still not bullish. This is a more advanced one. The more advanced way of analyzing. The BMM system, of course, I make it idiot proof for the public. But when talking about deeper analysis now, right? This thing here, even though it's showing bull now, it may not be a bull. You know what I mean? It can be just a sideways market, and this sideways market is caused by what? It's caused by the CT. So this, I believe, is a C zone. The real marker or control is here for C zone. That's my personal biasness. But I can't tell the public that. I don't tell the public that. You get what I mean? This is the E zone here. Because if you look at a cycle, right, that ends here, the cycle ends around here, right? The cycle is actually a bear cycle. It's not a bull cycle. You're talking about major cycles. That's a bear cycle, not a bull cycle. Yeah. So if you ask me personally, if I'm using a line of control, right, I will only be semi-bull if it closes above this line tonight. If it closes above this line. But the real line of control for the sequence of the CET is actually here. And I hope it doesn't go to E long, because that will mean that it will trigger the Fibonacci to go along until around here. Then you have a very long tail E, which is not likely. I believe that if you use the retracement here to here, right? If you're using standard retracement, this line of control is very tricky, right? You're using here to here because it happens that it has reacted on the Fibonacci before. So yes, it might get a short BMM2, you might, but I'll wait for the closing. I won't go in. I won't even go in yet, right? Because E is in sequence already, which means that, right, in the near future, I hope it's 20th March, plus minus, there's going to be a transition that is going to break out, up or down, very soon. 20th March is a very important date. I keep mentioning the date, up or down. Any questions there? I already showed you the line of control is bear. The main line of control of cycles is bear. It's taken from earlier the point I showed to you. Where's the point? Here. There. Two line of control. This one is another one, another line of control. Earlier I used, which one I used? I used another line of control just now, but they'll say the same thing. Because usually it's a 3 days buffer. And the buffer line of control, I forgot which one already. But even irregardless, right? Even if this line of control or this one, right? Right, if you look at the 3 bars here, all of them are pointing short. You got 2 cycles, because I chose another random cycle, right? That points down. So the overall trajectory could be a retracement down, and the real trend is still down. The real trend is still downwards, right? So just please take note of that. And if you were to, if I didn't tell the public, but I told you guys, remember last week I said Tuesday is actually a cycle, Tuesday is a day, but I did it to Wednesday. And if you take the high and low here, right, the Tuesday high and low, right, all the way down here is actually a BMM4. That's why I saw it. I'm like, don't try issue, but the next day is doji. And another secret is this: all dojis on the daily charts are BMM2 by default, minimum. In most cases, you get BMM2. All dojis on daily. I'm dropping you another answer now. This I don't tell public. So all dojis on daily are natural BMM2s. It's just a technical strategy. Does it make sense? That's why when I saw there's a doji, I knew that there was a natural BMM2 here, and that's why I still stick to the holding. That's why it's a BMM2. You look at this point here. This one's not. I think it's not very clean. This one was a bit sore. Let's see. This one's a bit sore. Well, this is a cubicle. This is a cubic move. Okay, let's say we have that's not even a doji. I won't call this a doji. It's so lopsided. This is a real doji. This is kind of doji. This one is a bit too this hammer already. It depends on how big bar. So let's see if I have more. Okay, doji, can you see here? They're natural BMM2s. Right? You see there's a breakout down. They're all natural BMM2s. One example, 2 example here. And here, depending on buffer, remember buffer is 30. So the buffer should protect you from false trigger. Yeah. It should protect you from false trigger. I hope these are protected. Unless I adjust again the cycle. Yeah, it should be 25. Low is 3934.8. Yeah, exactly 30 points protection. This one exactly 30 points, right? This one was a 4, right? And let's see. What are dojis? This is a doji. This is a BMM2. Yeah, BMM2, you see here. So the dojis are natural BMM2s by default, naturals, right? That's why when I saw there's a doji that day, I just kept quiet. That's the reason why I kept quiet. So now that you understand that there's a line control here, the main control is here, right? And there's a control line here, which I use here. We have to be very careful with this one. I don't think, even though it looks like it's long now on BMM, I won't go in. Questions? So that's what. Any question on that? Anything above 30 points is the trigger. That's why I use 30 points as the buffer. But there's a possibility we have to increase to 35 down the road. I'm looking at a change in the trajectory, maybe 33, 35 because of inflation. We might have to adjust to 33 and 35 soon. And the 90 points will be adjusted to maybe about 100 points. I have not decided yet, because you see, right? Okay, take a look at this example here today, 2 days ago. This is doji, right? Natural BMM2s. When they trigger, right? Let's say here, right? And the point from here to here is 200 points now. Right? Let's say let's be very anal about the calculations. Let's say here 3938, and the low is 3919. 3919.2. Okay, let's just condense here. Okay. So what I like to do is that I like to take the average of the whip source, like this case here. And if you plan a BMM2, right, I'll calculate the average that these things keep fucking up people. Right. So our usual is 120 points based on the previous all these years, the BMM2s. Since 2020 to 2022, the BMM2 30-point system has worked flawlessly for a very long time. Right. It was adjusted 30 points like somewhere around 2020. This will account for the new age inflation. Now with the inflation going on, if we adjust to 33 points, there's a possibility that we can even adjust this to 100 and instead of 90 points to 120 points based on the US 500. Because if you add 120 points plus 33 points, the minimum is 153. The number you see here is 189. It's still within the tolerance. So if you want to plan BMMs, if you are deciding to code or you want to do something coding or whatsoever, then what we need to do in the long run is that, right, if you're looking at all the doji, so we always start off with doji, right? Let's say this example here. This is not a doji also, but let's assume that this looks like a doji-ish, right? And we will take the low and put the way down here. It's suggested that it's not 30 points, but about 38 points. Can you see that? So there's a possibility that it can even adjust to 40 points. I don't know. I had to go and run the test again. But how we plan our BMMs is this way when we come up with a formula, right? And I think 2 batches ago, 3 batches, I keep mentioning that it's a counter to inflation. So if inflation will go haywire, this strategy will go haywire, right? So I'm still monitoring. So this case here was 90 points exactly. This is a cubic one. This is a destroyed account move. But another rule that we use is that, right, not every day is a BMM. You should know that by now. Not every day is a BMM, right? Not every day we use BMM because the BMM cycle sequence has astrological points. Then I usually issue. That's my own thing, right? So you saw the dimension, right, earlier on this thing. So whenever I issue BMM, I will wait for those things to come in as well in alignment. I don't randomly issue BMM. I don't like to issue BMM when there's just one factor. I will never do that. Your BMM here was issued based on the harmonic cycles, and there's a planetary flush here on the day. The moon's phase was here. You see? I issued BMM here, right? One that issue originally, but I was moving here to support flush. So that BMM was pretty. This BMM, not very pretty because it's a mid-cycle BMM. All right. Any questions? Remember, this line is very important. This price point is very important. Over here, very, very important price point. I watch the closing tonight. And GAN has a rule. GAN has a rule that if you are in a red position for 3 days, you don't have to react. I mean, depends on your stop loss, of course. But if you're red for 3 days and you're not sure about it, hold for 3 days. GAN use the 3 days law. For GAN's trading, he will wait for 3 days, and it's still red and all and doesn't improve, he will cut loss. That's GAN's method. If you want to adopt that method in. So if you see that you might have gone past a long, right, for this case here, and the first BMM is actually hit already, then you can wait for this thing and still hold for 3 days. That's if you want to follow that rule. That's not my rule, that's GAN's, WT GAN's rule. Right? Law of 3. Any questions? Anything to ask? Yeah, it's damn fishy the move. Jeez. Looks so fishy. Line control is here. The line control is this one. We use a BMM here. Yeah, just get used to it. What the hell? I would say really, it's a very distorted period. I'm not sure why. The king bar is very active really. I'm not those of you who know king bar, you should know what to do now. Those of you who know king bar, you should know what to do now. Those of you who don't know king bar, well, just wait for the class to come when it goes on that day. Because I got an enhanced king bar. Like the KC that we improved the KC, right? The king bar have an enhanced version already. We have a new enhanced version of king bar. I'm not disclosed yet. Right? So we have, just wait, it's normal, it's normal. Those of you who know king bar, you should know what to do. You can start plotting already. Right, so let's see, just enter. Yeah, normal lah. It's normal. Not worried. I just hope that the algorithms are not screwing up our BMMs, that's all. Yeah, you know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. As I say, some of you guys maybe the whole program already just on king bar. What's BMM? You know what I mean? What's BMM when it have king bar? Then with the enhanced KC now, what's the BMM now? It's nothing. It's just for me to tell you that on a day something happened. Right. So, questions? If not, I'll see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. Any questions? Anything else to ask? Anything I'm not sure? Anything to ask? Watch the king tonight. It will give you a lot of answers. Right? I hope the king is bearish. Yes, king bar is actually more potent than BMM, correct? Unless there's a astrological cycle. No, you don't need. That's why it's taught in this program. Astrological cycle, you need Optima, but not this one. You should ask the seniors. Not all of them buy Optima, right? Not all of them buy Optima. There's some seniors here as well. Not all of them buy Optima. I just need you guys to make the money back ASAP. I expect you guys to make $6,000 and above within the next three months or less. And then you come for the advance, or you're going to get Optima. Right. Interesting that the king bar is forming. It's still not formed yet. Right? I mean the king might be there already, but the king bar isn't formed yet. The subs are not here yet. Just let it wait. Don't need to fight. I'm hoping it's bad. In fact, that's why I never say go on apology. You notice this around on public and then say go on apology, right? Yes, we are writing on it now. There is backtesting has shown to work 50% of the time very well, 50% of the time a bit sideways. So we have it ready. It's not big. That's not a big king bar. It's not big. I don't call that a big king bar. It's not. This is not the crazy kings. I've seen a lot bigger ones. And remember the king, the bigger the king, oh, I think I haven't already there. Okay, I'm going to drop a hint now. Sometimes the bigger the king, the more powerful the move the knight. And I know first. Sometimes the bigger the king, you get more powerful move that knight. So if you want to get a multi-X factors, right? Or let's say R3, R4, right, moves, right? Sometimes the king, big king will give you that kind of impact. Especially at the start. Alex, you have to get the answer next week, not this week. I just dropped another hint. So for today's cycle is not. Oh yeah, there is Rocky, there is. You can buy Black Friday Optima at 35% off maximum, but they only give you like 10. I think there's only 10 products of it. You can. Some of them actually wait for the Optima Black Friday before they buy. In the old days, before the KC I just taught you today, king bar is king. With the new KC method I just taught you, I have not done enough tests to determine yet. But if you notice the king, the KC, the new method KC, it's a bit like king bar, but not exactly like king bar. It's a bit like king bar, right? But not exactly king bar. But the idea is quite similar. And you use very tight stop loss for the new KC method, the enhanced one, this batch. So if you ask me, will it overthrow a king? I don't think so, because the king always tells the direction. But that one will ride on momentum very well. And if you see a lot of sudden momentum spike lately, that comes to correction, the KC will overrule. That's what I can tell you. Because we're preparing methods for in case the market go to the situation now, this new KC method is killing it. That's all I'll say. Come on, be a bear. I need the thing to be a bear. I don't like it to be bull. Actually, I don't want it to be a bull at all. But I can't control the markets. Right. Okay. Yes, we'll test your forex. No, not yet, Sean. Not yet. Not yet. Too early to tell. You know, I don't like to take gambling. I hate to gamble. All right. Shall we end already? Shall I see you all tomorrow? Shall I see you all tomorrow? All good. If all good tonight, then have fun. Markets, please don't blow up the account. Right? Please don't blow up the account. I mean, if it's bull, it's bull. Then let it be. It's bear, it's bear. Right? US 30 is really showing bull, so I'll just wait to see how's the impact like. See the US 30 right now. Oh, US 30 is actually bearish. Interesting. US 30 is actually bearish. Shit, are we gonna have a desync night again? Yeah. Oh my god. If they're gonna desync again, it's gonna suck. Doji here. What should the tech rally lately? Shit, it's gonna be a very messy night. That's the case. Same chaos happening. Market's confused. Extension. My future is close really. This one. Interesting. They are bearish. Okay. Correction is needed. Correction is needed for this trade. I know already. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, bonus, if you're here. Those of you who wrote the content. No, I mentioned already, I don't like the signal I'm seeing on the. I just explained why I don't like bull, even though it's KB bull. Can you see the red color thing I just highlighted on the side right here? Can you see this red color line here? Can you see this thing? I just draw 2 boxes there. You know what number is that, right? Those of you who went ahead with the program, you know what number is that, right? You know I say about the number, right? You know what I say about the number, right, you guys? Those of you, okay, I zoom in. I zoom in big for you. Can you see the yellow box I just highlighted there? The 2 squares I just drew there. Look at the number there. Then look at here now. No, it's not. Remember what I told you about the 88 law? Those of you who took the FIPS or went ahead of FIPS. Remember what I told you about 88 law, right? Now you understand what's going on, right? I'm betting I'm okay. Honestly, I think it's fair. But I just someone already give the answer already. Once you see all these numbers, you start to get a sense. You get a sense already. Yeah, I'm actually, even though the BMM is like bull, right? I'm actually bearish. I think I continue to hold the shorts then. Continue to hold the shorts in this case. But I say watch the king. The king's not done yet. Watch the king. I'll use the king inside. Right? Have fun. Okay, I really have to go. I have to submit some work now to the brokerage house. That's why I have to go. My other brokers asking for the payment for that. So that's where I need to go now. All right. So tomorrow I see you at 1 p.m. I'll see you at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Market is still, it looks bearish to me. Right. Even though I look up, look down, left, right, I still think it's bearish. Right. All right. Any questions? Nothing else then? Okay, I'll see you all tomorrow.